Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ye Old Drop Frames. Did you guys know last episode was episode 420?
Blaze it.
Nice. Or blaze it. Yeah, there you go.
Blaze it, yeah. Yeah, that's
Damn
right.
it.
That's right. What did you think it was?
KnowYourMemes.com.
Zeke, what did you think it was?
I said nice, but that's 69. That's a different thing. Sorry.
Let's roll it back from the top. Zeke messed up. We planned that
Okay,
out.
give me the line again. Give me the line one more time. Give me the line one more time.
Hey, did you guys know last week was episode 420?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Be praised.
Nice.
Wait.
Fuck. I fucked it. I did it
No.
again.
Damn it.
Shit. One more time.
I just can't. Where's Dan and Goth? We need him back. We gotta.
Yeah, I bet that was a great show without us.
It was
I bet.
fantastic. Yeah, it was fantastic. We had a great time. They did, however, inform me that the two of you went on vacation together without me.
We did. We did. We actually met up in
So-
secret, and we all went to the Georgia Aquarium together. It was great.
Yep.
Zeke actually got in there and swam around, I heard.
He did. He was actually an attraction. He was a merman.
Oh,
I paid someone to put me in pictures from Miami, like Photoshop me in, because I wasn't actually in Miami. I was in Georgia at the aquarium.
And it was super
okay.
interesting, actually. I say attraction, but it was actually one of the first times that people would pay not to see him. which
Oh, it was
interesting.
like they were trying to they were moving one of the animals, so they were trying to get people out of the aquarium.
Exactly. So you'd walk up
Mm.
and they'd be like, hey, you need to walk through here. Ezekiel the Third is playing a merman. You can pay $5 for us to open this locked door to go around it, though. And
Yeah, there was a little
about
slot
$6,500.
Smart,
for bills
smart,
where the curtain would you put a $5 bill and the curtain would close for you,
smart.
so you wouldn't have to see it.
I mean, that's just good business, really.
It's just good business, really.
It's just good business. Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
smart business.
It comes down to it. Zeke, you were.
How did they get the shells to stay in his beard? Duct tape, lots of duct tape. Yeah, it was.
I heard crazy glue. I heard they just put crazy.
Was it glue? Zeke would have to.
Come on,
I don't know.
guys.
He was like blackout drunk most of the time, so
Oh,
I don't
look
know
at
if
this
he
thing.
remembers.
Just a simple square of Velcro, and it's just
Velcro does
It'll just
usually
stay
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Velcro. Yeah.
I love
and
it.
and Velcro's that's what they use underwater because it's Velcro is not affected by water.
Yeah. Yeah. That's correct.
Smart.
Yeah.
See, this is why you're the merman, Zeke. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
That's right.
Expert merman.
That's why I get paid the big bucks to not be seen.
To not be seen.
Expert
Right.
merman Ezekiel the Third. Put that in your Twitter
That's me.
bio for sure.
Yep.
I think it's
Somebody just pointed out, by the way, interesting side fact, also the reason Velcro is used in outer space. I didn't know that. Very good to know. Yeah, look at that.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
GG.
Zeke, I could see the cogs are spinning, and I'm going to call you
No,
out because I want to know. I see the cogs spinning, and every once in a while, I like to just put that key in the door and open up Zeke's brain. So what
Sure.
was happening?
No, I was wondering, wasn't Velcro like made or like invented for the space race?
I don't know.
I don't.
Was it?
I thought that was one of the things that came
Oh,
out.
Psycho
of the
in
space
chat
race was
right there
Velcro.
says NASA invented Velcro.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
So, wait, does NASA hold the patent then for the term Velcro?
Is NASA a government agency?
Yes.
It is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think there's a thing about patents.
Patents and
agencies.
agency?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think.
All right. Well, we know everything, so we'll figure that out and we'll get you the real facts.
Yeah. Well, we gotta get the right answer.
Yeah, we're gonna circle
Well,
back on that.
According to Google,
oh, God.
Oh, here we
Velcro
go.
IP Holdings LLC, also known as Velcro Companies, owns the patent for Velcro. So Velcro is a brand name.
I knew that. I just
Okay.
didn't know if NASA owned it because they invented it, or if it was a thing where you know they make money off of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to go watch the Star Trek episode on Velcro. I'm sure they'll fill us in. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
So Velcro's like Kleenex or Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Like,
Synonymous with the thing. Zeke, what were you doing in Miami? How was old Miami? I can't picture you in Miami. Is that an insult? I don't know.
no, it's fine. No, it's not someplace I normally go. Like I usually don't go to the southern United States because honestly, not for any other reason than the weather is just not for me. It's super
feel
like
you.
hot and sticky and usually, but thankfully if you're lucky enough to live on a coastal town, like Miami, the ocean breeze kind of alleviates a little bit of that humidity.
Oh,
There's still a lot of humidity down there, but the breeze helps a lot.
yeah.
But I was very sticky most of the time just because like that's the what happens down there.
Yeah.
But no, it honestly like Miami in February, like you think of Miami being like super duper hot, but the winter cools down everything. And what would normally be like a 90-degree day is like a 75-degree day, which is, great, beautiful, gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. We had our for those of you who don't know why I left, I went to they call them regional burns. It used to be associated with Burning Man. It's not anymore. It was a whole thing. But there's lots of places that do these like mini Burning Man burns. Like,
Is it like a
different states and stuff like
smaller thing that they burn? Like a smaller...
Like a smolder.
Sometimes they do. For this particular one, Love Burn, they burned a giant wooden heart.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I'm guessing that if it's associated with the Burning Man org, that they probably would burn something. But this is the first one I've ever been to, so I can't speak on that. But it used to be associated with it. In 2024, they part ways, but they still do the thing. They still do the event.
Yeah.
And still name the same thing. It's just not legally associated with Burning Man anymore. But you go down there, it's about 3,000 people, which is drastically less than the 60,000 that go to like the actual burn.
Sure.
And it's on the beach, and there's running water, and there's trees, and there's electricity.
This sounds like a better experience than Burning Man.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it is.
It's a
like
bougie. It's a bougie man. Is what it is.
Is this a bougie man?
Yeah, it's a bougie man.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's like the people that go camping
Glamping.
with
Yep.
RVs. Yeah, glamping. Like that's the difference. Like Burning Man is tough and it sucks out there, and it's not built for light. There's like one species of indigenous life in the desert in Nevada, that part of the desert. And so it's not built for life. Like biological organisms are not supposed to be there. So it's hard to do that. However, this one was like glamping, like it had the same kind of vibe, like the same kind of people, like same attitudes, and very lovey-dovey, hippy-dippy, whatever you want to call it.
Did you get a lot
But
of
it was just so fucking easy.
Like this
Like
Burning Man remastered.
Well, you can get Uber Eats to the gate. Like if you can walk out of the gate, order Uber Eats, walk out the gate, and they'll deliver it because they can't come inside because they're not part of the event. But you can walk out the gate, get your Uber Eats, and bring it back in. You can get Instacart. If you walk out of the event, it's like a block, and then you're on the fucking highway. So it's like nothing. Like if you wanted to, you could go to this event during the day or night or whatever, and then leave and stay in a hotel room, and then come back the next day if you didn't want to sleep in a tent or camper or whatever. Yeah, it's right there. So it's like, man, this was nothing like that as far as like what you have to prepare for. Yeah. So like, if you wanted to like a good idea of what the people are like for the burn without actually having to do the hardships and the money that costs, go to the burn, find a regional burn. They're great.
Yeah.
I was 30-second walk from the ocean every day.
Hey, you can't beat that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. That's
the
good.
only
to
difference
answer the question from chat, yes. Burning Man is mostly just rich people taking drugs now. Yes.
There's a lot of that for sure. And there's a lot of that at most Burning Man based events as well. Allegedly.
Yeah, good for them.
The biggest difference was like the biting insects, because there's no insects.
Oh, they were gonna say
very,
people.
very few insects at the other burn, but this one, it's teeming with life. There are lizards and ocean life and shit like that, but also like sand fleas, and a lot of people got like bit up on their legs and shit, and it sucked.
Sand fleas?
I didn't.
That sucks.
They call them no-see-ums, which I think is hilarious because they're so small.
They're so tiny.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's weird because like certain people got bit and certain people didn't get bit at all. Like there are people like couples sleeping in the same tent where one of them just got bit to shit, another one didn't get touched. No fucking idea why that is. Maybe it's their diet or maybe their blood type. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, some people got bit, some people didn't. Thankfully, me and Katie did not get bit at all. So it was nice.
Nice.
But some people their legs were miserably itchy.
Well, it sounds like you had a good trip, all in all.
I've heard they're adverse to the smell of marijuana.
That could be too, because my tent was full of it, allegedly.
Allegedly.
They're like beekeepers, but instead of the fucking the beekeeper pushing up bong,
it's just
a
pot
giant
smoke.
bong.
A huge bong. Some dude named Nature Fart is like just popping it in there. You know, it's great.
Oh shit, you know Nature Fart?
I do, yeah.
Dude, he came and partied with us. He's a dude. He's
NF
a cool
is the
guy. A
man.
little intense,
I like
but
him.
really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he has some tangents he goes off.
Oh man.
No, if you want to check it out, I put it in my highlights. Oh wait, no, I didn't. Never mind. I didn't put anything in my highlights.
Well,
it's in my past broadcast.
only like 2 hours. You know, you gotta fit everything else in there. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I know.
That's a
I just
thing.
But it's in if you want to see my I go every year. I come back from Burning Man. I do a stream where we share pictures and shit. It's on my YouTube, or the most recent one is probably in my past broadcast. So if you want to know more about it, they're there for you to look at.
Fantastic. Cohh, you went to an aquarium?
I did. I went to the largest aquarium in the United States, which is the aquarium in Atlanta, Georgia.
Huh.
And we went to the Baltimore Aquarium last year, or the year before. And I have to say, the Georgia Aquarium, we definitely, everyone preferred. Instead of the Baltimore Aquarium is smaller, and it's kind of like a big line, and there's lots of attractions, but they're all through tight spaces and kind of going, it's almost like caves. The Georgia Aquarium is giant ass tanks. There is a tank at the Georgia Aquarium that has 2 whale sharks in it. And you basically just get to walk around the outside of it. Yeah.
What is that?
Actual whale sharks. It's pretty crazy. And it's also giant manta rays in it and stuff. Larger than cars.
That's gotta be massive.
It's absolutely massive, and it's super intense, and it's really cool. They have a whole tank like that with sharks that has actual hammerheads and stuff, just swimming around, chilling in it. But the kids loved it, man. I got tons of great pictures, and they were completely blown away by it, and it was a huge amount of fun. Yep. Highly recommend. Yes.
This is
Baltimore's not bad. Oh, Baltimore Aquarium is still amazing. It's still amazing. It's very different. But it's still amazing. Yeah.
I googled
Any
Georgia Aquarium. Apparently, this is a live feed. They have a live stream.
They do a lot of streaming stuff there. I noticed, which is really fun.
Yeah. What is that fish called, Cohh? Right here. What's this fish?
A grouper.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Is that that's not a shark, right? Is that a shark back there?
That's a whale shark right there. There it is at the top.
Oh,
that's
there
him.
at the top.
That's one of them. Yep. So what's kind of fun is there's 2 of them. And basically they have a little boat that cruises around on the top, dropping food for it. So it's constantly moving around and doing stuff. So that it was very cool. Very cool.
Fantastic. Was this the only attraction you and the family got up to?
When we do trips like this, we try to keep them very focused. We have found that is the best way to actually get things done. So yeah, we generally do we pick a big day event, and that was the aquarium, and then we generally find there's a lot of these things that I didn't even know existed before I was a parent, but there's a lot of these attractions that are basically indoor jungle gyms you can go to, and museums and stuff. So almost all major cities have one, and we basically just truck the kids there for the afternoon and let them just run around, get all their energy out before we go back to the hotel. So that's kind of our vacation mantra, is the big event in the morning, get all their energy out in the afternoon, and then actually have a good evening.
Smart. Yeah. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Well, cool. Sounds like you guys had some good trips.
It was a great time.
Some good little breaks. Let's jump into the news. Zeke, you brought it up already. I'm trying to find the post from Twitch, but essentially they're putting a cap on highlights of 100 hours for every streamer.
Bots.
It's it sucks, but it's also like, I don't know. They gave some stats about it, and it basically boils down to like, hey, we were paying a lot of money and no one really watched the VODs that were highlighted on most of the channels. I don't like that they like grouped all streamers into there and said it was something like, what, 5%? Was it 5% or 0.5%?
0.5.
0.5%. Yeah, which
0.5.
is, that's probably like, if you look into it, that's probably they're the ones that actually are making money on the platform that actually utilize highlights. But yeah, that's a thing. Where the hell
Did you
is
guys
this?
check
There
your
it is.
stats when this news came out?
Oh yeah, I was
Yep.
5,000 or I forget how many. It was 5,000 hours or 3,000 hours, something like that. I was definitely over.
Okay.
And the majority of them, I think they were all drop frames VODs. Because we'll highlight the DF VOD if I play music or something before the show and like the 10-minute countdown.
Yep.
The moderators will cut that out so it's not claimed or anything like that.
That's exactly what I use the highlight system for anything that was like questionably DMCA, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what, like, you know, I pay my editor to chop it up into like 2-hour chunks, cut out the breaks, and put them in the highlights. So like, yeah, I had 5,100 hours of
Wow.
of highlights, because that's, we were using the highlights as our VOD library. And what, I mean, I get it. Everybody, like most everybody understands why they're doing it. It's because people are using it, like I am, for storage. It's not a hugely watched thing, and they're correct. It's not. It's like some really, really low percentage of VOD watchers watch the highlights on most channels. But on my channel, like, that's what most people watch for VODs, because all the fluff is cut out. You know, me yapping at the beginning, and or like, you know, wasting time or whatever. So it sucks, but I get it. But the thing that sucks the most, and was just really dickish, was the time limit they give you. It's like
100%.
How about like someone suggests, like, why don't you do it gradually?
Yep.
You know, even start at 1,000. It's like you have, you know, 60 days to get it down to 1,000 hours. And then you have another 60 days to get it down to 500 or whatever, you know, a system for like letting us, giving us enough time to fucking get this shit taken care of before you know, it's deleted forever.
Yeah.
How about this? How about they, first of all, give a much bigger time limit, because no caster, especially daily streamers, like 2 months to go through 4,000+ hours of content. And then assuming you're on a connection that can actually move that amount of data quickly, like that's a whole other thing as well. Then you have to bring in caps and things like that. So time limit alone should have been at least 6 months, if not longer, stage, whatever. But imagine if Twitch had, you know, I don't know, partnered with an offsite storage solution and been like, hey, we'll help facilitate you move your data there.
Yeah.
Let us know what you want to do. You know, you can pay them and we'll give them access to your channel and they'll just move it all over there and you can have it as long as you want, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there are so many different ways this could have been done that would not feel like a slap to the face to the casters that have this amount of data. This is one of the worst possible ways they could have done it.
Yeah.
And they've also, like, don't get me wrong, it had to be done. Because what they're doing now, it shouldn't have been on since the beginning. The fact that it's been on for this long is crazy. It had to be done. But acting like they now have to rip the Band-Aid off is just like, dude, it's been a decade almost. Like, you don't need, like, come on, man. You're not that hard off for money. Like, it's not even going to save them that much. Like, I don't know. Whole thing just seems like another very poorly managed Twitch PR event. Like, they just, at this point, I'm questioning if they can do this kind of stuff right. Like, it just seems like they keep shooting themselves in the foot with this stuff. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Just give us a fucking year to get our shit together, because 5,000 hours is a lot. And there's people out there with even more than that.
Yeah. If any, let me actually look. I wonder if that, so April 19th is a Saturday. So that, no, it doesn't really have anything to do with tax season. I mean, it is 4 days off from the end of the financial year, but Zach Busey did some reporting on this. He said multiple staffers familiar with the matter claim this will allegedly save Twitch, quote, several $100,000 a year. The original plan was allegedly to phase out highlights entirely, but they decided on a middle ground that maintains 100 hours of storage. So they were just going to scrap highlights completely. So we got, I guess, the best of the two, which is kind of nuts. I guess their reasoning with VODs is that VODs disappear on most channels after, is it 60 days?
Yeah.
Or that most people are, using YouTube now, which I
Right,
think is
for VODs,
arguably the best thing like if they had ever wanted people to multi-stream on YouTube harder, like this is basically them saying you need to be multi-streaming on YouTube moving forward. Like if you have the capabilities to do it, you need to do it because then your VODs will be on YouTube for as long as you want.
Yep.
So this is essentially in a big way just pushing people off the platform, or at least encouraging them to diversify as much as possible.
It really is.
Yeah, without question. Apparently, if they phased out the feature entirely, it would have saved, quote, millions per year instead of hundreds of thousands per year, which I guess that makes sense. I'm seeing if there's
Why is everyone
anything
not
else
switching to YouTube? Most casters that haven't yet are starting to multi-stream on YouTube. There's no reason to switch to YouTube. There's no reason not to stream on Twitch. It's just, as somebody in chat said earlier, kind of aptly, let me see if I can find it here. They basically said y'all are coming at this assuming Amazon actually gives an F about you and us. I feel like that's not anchored in reality here, says Julian. And I think with stuff like this, that is the writing on the wall. The writing on the wall is 100% Twitch is just a company that's worried about the bottom line these days. That is where we are. And I think we all kind of know that. That's how it's been for the last couple years as well. But I mean, the big thing here is we not only have to assume that there is some impetus here that wants things to remain positive on the platform, but it's also in Twitch's money-making interest to not do stuff like this in this way. So it's easy to say Amazon doesn't care about you. Why are you thinking that? Yeah, but they do care about money, and stuff like this pisses off the people that make some money. The small amount they're actually still making, because we know that Twitch is not a profitable platform, or at least hasn't been. So I don't know. It's in their interest to not do stuff like this. From any perspective you look at it from, even if you think Amazon's a soulless company out for money, this is not even good for that perspective.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's just not a good move.
It's always been a little crazy to me that they automatically save every stream, every minute of streaming that you have, and then they offered so many features. I mean, but while they had it, I was taking advantage of it. Absolutely.
Well, I mean,
and then
the idea.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the idea is that the VODs would get them the ad revenue they need for the storage. It just didn't work out that way. They never got to the point where they encouraged the VOD system enough, made it good enough for people to use it instead of YouTube, or to there's not enough features to replace YouTube. So I think this is in a way kind of them maybe giving up on that a little bit, being maybe this is, we'll just let Twitch or YouTube handle that kind of stuff, and we'll just focus on the live stuff. So, yeah.
No, I've said it for years. I would if Twitch figured out a way to a decent way to monetize our VODs, I might just not do YouTube anymore, because I'm of the mind that having all my shit in one centralized location is better.
Yeah.
If I live stream on Twitch, all my VODs are on Twitch. I'm making money on both things. So that's the whole reason why I have a YouTube channel to begin with. It's, and I mean, frankly, I lose money on it. I've lost money on it for a decade.
Yeah.
And the reason why I do it is it's basically I look at it like paying for advertisement. It's I'm on YouTube. If you only do YouTube, my VODs are there.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the big thing. These days it's
everything.
diversification. It's just casting more lines in different lakes kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, and to be honest, from a VOD perspective, from a viewer perspective, the only big thing that you miss by going to YouTube is you get a better player. It functions. You can use it both on mobile and desktop with a competent client, because we're not even going to start talking about the Twitch mobile client, which is just a fucking
or app
shit
or
show
oh god
right now. But the only thing you lose is chat, right? Like you don't have the Twitch chat, which a lot of people do enjoy watching as a VOD, as a
Yeah, and the
parallel
chat-
to their VOD.
It's interesting because everything that Twitch lacks in VODs, YouTube lacks in live streaming. Like they both are really good at what they're good at, and they suck at what they're not. Like actually suck at what they're not.
Yeah.
And now we see Twitch just giving up on their side essentially. I hope YouTube doesn't do the same with their live streaming, although arguably you could say they already did years ago.
I think
when Ryan
they
left.
kind of already did. Yeah.
They kind of already did. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was looking at where was, I don't know where Dan was, Mr. Clancy was saying all this stuff, but he did talk about the other Twitch news was that they're going to be running shared gift sub promotions throughout the year. The first one will be in the last few days at the end of March, during which 5 gift subs will be discounted by 35%. And then he also added that they're working on the ability for creators to run their own sub discount promotions. So I'm kind of curious how that will work. If it'll be
We've
like
been
limited
asking
to,
for that for like 10 years.
yeah,
So
if
that's
that'll be
cool.
like a once a quarter or whenever the broadcaster wants, or how they're gonna, how that works, like how that comes out as a win for Twitch
They're gonna-
in terms of the
I
frequency.
can already see it now. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, no, you can have permanent sub discounts and run it whenever you want, and it's gonna be great. By the way, it only comes out of your earnings, not ours. But it's whenever you want. It's totally fine. Like
bet-
you do it.
You're probably right. It's probably you.
Well, I mean,
take the cut.
that's, but I know, like that's the OnlyFans model, right? The
Is that the
content creators
OnlyFans
on
model?
Only, well, content creators on OnlyFans can set their own subscription price.
Well, I mean, we've been
okay.
asking to be able to like set our sub price and tiers. Like there was a big push of being able to like Patreon our own stuff, basically.
Yeah,
we kind of move that in, and that whole thing fell apart when we saw the splits that Twitch wanted to take with that stuff. That's why one of the reasons that tiered subs are barely a thing is because the splits are horrendous. But
Yeah.
it's not really going to work, unfortunately. I don't think.
Yeah.
We'll see though.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Kind of similar news, but just for other streaming platforms. I didn't realize that, when was this? This was about 5 days ago, 6 days ago. Facebook Live will now also start deleting live stream VODs after 30 days. So it seems like everyone's good in VODs, and there's like, you have them, YouTube. Like, this is your thing. We're
This
not
is
going to
your
fuck
thing.
with this. Yeah, it's
Although to
storage.
be fair, no, like I didn't know Facebook Live was still a thing until you said that. So that's
Yeah, I don't know who streams on Facebook Live still. I've never...
nobody I know.
I've
does
never
anymore.
interacted with the platform before, but
Yeah.
just for
I think Facebook Gaming kind of died.
probably, yeah.
All the people that used to stream on it that I know of don't.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, and then the big Twitch news. There's 4 limited time global emotes right now. I guess going for Valentine's. Are they already turned on? There's share the hug, share the LO, share the VE, and love smash. Are these still live?
Love Smash.
Oh yeah, they are still live. Yeah, love smash. These are from emote artist Video Game Shay. At least that they got a
real artist.
they got
Good
a
for
real
them.
artist. Yeah, that's
Good for them.
That's progress.
Movement in the right direction.
Yeah.
Look at them go.
The last time it was not. If you're wondering why we're making such comments.
This timeline, man, I tell you.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So that's all on the Twitch news that I saw. But we have cut most of our highlights in my neck of the woods, and we are below the 100 range. I think we're at like
Yeah.
78 or something.
It was a little awkward for us because a lot of my save stuff was like stuff that we couldn't put on YouTube for various reasons. So like I had basically an entire I may still actually have an entire Baldur's Gate 3 library of just the sex scenes.
You're like an IGN.
I know, right? I know. So it's kind of like, what's this Cohh Carnage guy doing with his VODs? Interesting. Okay.
Oh, man.
That's a thing.
That's funny.
Huh.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does JP have a VOD
There was
channel?
another,
It's kind of the main channel, really. Like it's, yeah, pretty much the main channel at this point. What were we gonna say, Zeke?
It doesn't really affect us that much, but there was a what is it, enforcement, like policy enforcement updates for Twitch.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Oh, okay. I thought you might know about it. I was just bringing it
no,
up.
no,
I know about
I
it.
saw a blurb
because-
about it. But
Yeah.
Funny enough, the enforcement stuff they just announced was some of the reasons that I remember that council I joined a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was why I joined it, was to get the stuff like that implemented. So
Okay.
now here we are years later. I haven't been associated with it for a long ass time, and we're seeing it like finally come to light. So that's kind of good.
So what are the enforcements? Just more rules?
I'm not sure. The implementation, I just kind of briefly read over it, so we'd have to get the details. But it's basically a lot more transparency in like why you're getting banned, a lot more transparency in the
okay.
reasons, a lot more communication when that stuff happens. So, all the stuff that they should have been doing since day one, essentially.
Yep.
the biggest takeaway for me was escalating consequences. It was like not like static consequence. It was like first violation this, and then second violation this, and then third violation more and more severe punishments, I think.
What's going to be really interesting is to see if they stick to it. That's actually a huge change, because we have so many casters on the platform that just basically make a cycle of getting banned and taking a vacation, coming back to big stuff, getting banned. Like, there are people that would not make it through this new iteration that are actively casting today. So it's going to be interesting to see if they actually stick to it or not.
Okay, so yeah, here's the
First time a big name gets busted.
Right.
We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, violations
If
not
you
expire, escalating consequences. Go ahead, Zeke.
Yeah, if you violate within the same policy, this is directly from their blog. If you violate within the same policy category, i.e., hateful content or conduct, multiple times within the violation's expiration window, 90 days, 1 year, 2 years, depending on the violation, the length of suspension you receive for each subsequent violation will increase. That's that part of it.
Got it.
Yep.
But there's also the statute of limitations kind of a thing that they're enforcing as well. It's
yeah.
that's kind of part of that. It's like, if you don't violate within 6 months, say like you have a sexual content ban for 3 days or whatever, and then 61 days go by and you have another one, it's just like the first one because it's been enough time or something like that.
Yep. Which is kind of what they did before. They just, arbitrarily decided when that was done instead of having any type of rhyme or reason. So,
Right.
And that way they could just do whatever they wanted with their VIP casters, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see it in black and white. But, the first step is seeing the rules, and the second step's enforcing them. And unfortunately, the rules mean nothing unless they're enforced. So we'll have to... Not the first time we've seen Twitch come out with some ballsy rules.
Yeah.
So we'll see if this sticks.
It's one of those things
See if it sticks.
and I've seen this conversation / I guess feeling, community sentiment is maybe, I guess, what you could call it. But like, is this the time where we start being like, Dan, stop going to dinners with people and like, let's start having some fucking changes on the platform? Like, is that past? Are we at that point? Is that even a point that we can be at? Like, I've seen a lot. The people are starting to get angry about all of that, I guess is what I'm getting at. Is the honeymoon period is over. That's a great way to put it. From Blaze Rom in my chat.
Now, are you specifically talking about with Dan or?
Yeah,
or...
just like, I guess with Dan's message that he's, talking with partners and being involved more in the community. Like when he came on, that seemed like a pretty big initiative from his part. I think both of you shared dinner with him at one point. Mm-hmm. But now it feels like it's just kind of been this like slow process. For those that know, Dan is Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, who replaced Emmett Shear, who was the CEO for, I don't know, a decade or some shit like that, a very long time. And Dan's been in that position for 3 or 4 years.
Been a bit now.
Yeah.
It has been a bit.
I just wonder like if it's like what the next big thing is, right? I guess like what's on the horizon, because I don't know.
It's interesting because, the Dan for almost the entire time he's been here has really been pushing like the stream together, guest star stuff and all that kind of thing. And we're just kind of getting quieter and quieter about that.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, like, what is Dan's next big thing? Is there a next big thing for him? because it's looking more and more like that's not gonna pan out. So like that's not the big Twitch feature that people were looking for. The whole knock thing, I don't know a single caster that uses that.
Yeah, I don't
in fact,
even
most
use.
have turned it off.
I don't use the knock
so,
system. I just send people a link to do the stream together thing, and that's it.
Yeah, and so that there's a lot of things there. I would say like I think one thing that would be awesome, and we've never really seen them do this. We've seen kind of them do this a little bit with the patch note stuff, but seeing like a roadmap, like what Twitch is thinking the future is going to look like for Twitch. I don't know if they know that at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. But yeah,
I mean, it could still be like, hey, we're still in the turn profits phase, because that seems like their big initiative, especially with this, this VOD
with the VOD
stuff.
thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is trying to cut the corners, as it were, and make as much money as possible, or make money in the first place.
Be profitable.
Be
It's always
profitable.
good for companies, right?
Yeah, but I just wonder like what exactly what you just said, Cohh. Like a roadmap, I think would do a lot of good, because I'm curious if they even know what the next like big product is, or if it's more of just like, hey, we're coasting along, we're trying to be profitable. That's what our goal is right now.
Well, a roadmap would also alleviate some of the fucking tension from shit like this, the VOD thing, like the highlights thing. It's like if we
like
knew
we're
it
having
was
stuff
coming
snuck up on
down the
us.
road, it's not like they weren't thinking like of doing this, a long time ago. I'm sure they've been thinking. They're like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get rid of it? It's like, oh, we better just do it. It's like, how about you tell us a year ago? Like, jump in the fucking DeLorean, give us a heads up on your roadmap a year ago, and then we'll figure it out. Like, by the time it gets here, I would have been prepared, maybe.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we will. It's one of those, classic comments from me. We'll see. I don't know. We're gonna keep doing what we do around here, and we'll see what Twitch does in the long run. But I feel like every like live stream advancement or evolution of what this job is has just been us adjusting to what Twitch isn't doing in a lot of ways. And now like multi-streaming, like, oh, we're just gonna put everything on YouTube. We're gonna multi-stream to YouTube and have that just be our VODs. That's where all of our VODs are gonna be now. And some people were clued into that, ahead of time, and so they have years of VODs, but some people are also just using Twitch VODs and have been using Twitch VODs since, I guess, the last apocalypse, the VOD apocalypse in 2017? Whenever that happened the first time around, when they gave us, I think, 2 months or 3 months to just get rid of our VODs. Whenever all that happened. So we'll see. And that's the latest doom and gloom on Twitch, I guess. It sucks to be so doom and gloomy about it, but that's where I think a lot of our heads are, is just figuring it all out.
And the biggest suck is not even for streamers, because like, it's true, we're not making money on Twitch VODs like at all.
Right.
So
no one is, apparently.
The biggest suck is for the viewers, like the people who like watching VODs and stuff like that. It's just it makes me feel bad for people who like can't make it to the stream and like really want to see how blank turns out and shit like that, because I'm not making any money from you watching it. It's just nice to have that, and I feel bad for anybody who is a VOD watcher.
Yeah. I did bring up the mobile app. There was actually a tweet that was going around from Senna that had about 550,000 views. That was just very bluntly, Twitch, for the love of all things, please make the mobile app usable. It's been months. Clips are zoomed in and unplayable due to the TikTok format. And the sound doubles when you click to watch the full video. The mini player crashes the entire app. The chat freezes nonstop and then won't load.
Yeah,
and
it really is it's garbage.
It's garbage.
It's absolute garbage.
You made a joke, Cohh, a couple episodes ago, where you said like, I was talking about LSF or something and how I can't watch any of the clips there. And you're like, oh, just use the alternate link. Everyone uses the alternate link.
Yeah.
JP, like, what are you doing? And now that's all I do. Like, I don't even go to the fucking Twitch app to view clips. I go and look at like the reposted clip on another platform entirely because you just can't watch it.
And it works 10 times better.
Yeah, half the time you like click into a top clip somewhere and it's
Doesn't
centered
work.
on the screen and the caster's camera is like in a corner somewhere so that you have no idea what the clip is even trying to show or reference. And then
How is it so bad? I'll tell you how it's so bad. The
It's
same
bad,
reason
yeah.
that almost all the things at Twitch are bad these days. Money. They're trying to save too much money, and they're just making terrible decisions that they think are saving money. God knows the amount of experience that was on the team that made that mobile app.
Yeah.
And how much it actually cost them, and how much it should have cost them if they had done it right. So no, I mean it's the fact that it was released. The fact that it was released in its initial state. People don't even remember when it got first released. It was worse than it is now. Like it was terrible when it was released, to the point where I'm practically convinced there was no QAing done on it, like at all. Like it didn't even work properly, let alone function properly. And then since then, it has been nothing but terrible. Like the entire community is like, do not want, do not like, and they've done like nothing to fix it or remedy it. So it's baffling how like not only could have a product like that made it out of a company as large as Twitch's, but then how it could have lasted this long with as little changes as it's had. It's baffling.
Yeah.
It's baffling.
I was scrolling
It's wild.
to all the responses. There's like, you know, so many top 0.5% of the platform are just responding, being like, yeah, it fucking sucks, Twitch. Can we fix this? There's so many people that are just responding. And
But I mean, 10 times this amount of people made the same plea when the app came out, and they did basically nothing.
They
They
did
made like a
nothing,
few
yeah.
minor fixes and a few minor changes and moved a couple things around, and they were like, "You're good, right? Okay, cool." And everyone was like, "No, we're not good." And they were like, "Well, we're working on the next thing now, so that sucks for you."
yeah, yeah.
'Cause
Whatever the
we're
next
gonna-
thing is.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna go make it so streamers can knock on other streamers instead of.
they
So
they
enjoy
did
that.
actually push kind of silently. There was a update to that product, I guess is what you could call. Now, when you do shared chats, you can have there's an option to dim the other chats to where it's like slightly opaque, and your chat is normal.
Hey, fair. I like the shared chat thing. Like we've been wanting shared chat stuff for decades. Like that's a good feature.
Yeah,
That's a good feature. Like good job, Twitch.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Like credit where it's due. We love that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
you know, broken clocks right twice a day. But yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, good credit where it's due. Good job on that one. Yep.
Let's jump into some more general gaming news. This past week, mostly people are just playing video games. We did have some news come out. I guess the biggest thing, which turned out to be a bad thing, but not the biggest thing really after, I think it was like a headline that kind of got away from what actually happened. The Marvel Rivals team had it came out and said that a Marvel Rivals director had been let go and the US based team was also let go. They were laid off. In actuality, it was, I think, like 6 to 8 people that worked on an R&D team here in the States that were let go. Obviously, like losing jobs, never a good thing, especially in the video game industry. But it blew the fuck up because everyone was like,
Well,
this game is doing so well.
To put it fair, the guy worded the tweet like he was an important part of what they were doing at the time.
Yeah.
He made it sound like, how is this game so successful and we're still getting fired anyway? And
Yeah.
it's like, well, you got fired because that was never the plan probably to keep you hired for long. Like that, and NetEase has been scaling back for years. Like this is not the people that actually are making the game, like the creative director and stuff. He's fine. The whole team that he's working with is fine. The game is going to be fine. Like this was a separate team. So that definitely, I got caught up in that too.
Same.
I thought, I was like, what is going on? This is insane. But no, turns out like it's just a restructuring is the best way to say it.
Yep.
It was a restructuring.
It started as a
Still
LinkedIn
sucks as a
post.
job being lost, but
Yeah, it started as a LinkedIn post. Thaddeus Sasser said, "This is such a weird industry, ... My stellar, talented team just helped deliver an incredibly successful new franchise in Marvel Rivals for NetEase Games, ... And we were just laid off. Oh well, times are tough. Let's find these incredible people new jobs because we all need to eat, right?" And then he went on to talk about people that he worked with and on the team and, you know, promoted them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so that, of course, like blew up and took over social media pretty quickly for the exact reasons that Cohh was just talking about. And NetEase actually had to, I think, issue a statement because their Discord flooded with like, what the fuck is going
Hate.
on? How the fuck
Yeah,
could you?
it was. Yep.
How could you guys do this? This is fucking awful. You guys are obviously super successful. Like, what the fuck? And so they put out a statement, which I will try and find here in just a sec. Zeke, it looks like you're one to dive in.
Yeah, I have a question. Is it a restructuring, or is it a matter of like their job is done? You know, like when you build a house, like you're building the house, like the deck is built, so the deck builders, they're gone. They get laid off or whatever you want to call it. Like they're
So
done
what you're
building the deck.
saying,
So
what
they
you're
go.
saying is
Is that
very
bad or not?
common. What you're saying is very common in the gaming industry, where even on large AAA titles, like a role is finished on that title, so they are let go, you know, to go work on their next project, whatever it is.
Is that what
I think
happened?
I think in this case it was a combination, from what I understand. Like they could have still done stuff, but NetEase has been scaling down internationally on all sides for a while, and this was part of them scaling back. I don't know if they were public about the situation. Like if they were contractors, we don't know that. Was their job did it already have terminating times? The guy's post didn't make it sound like it did, but you know, so that means that's information we'll never know. But yeah, to answer your question, that's very common in the gaming industry. Yes, to have like either contracted positions or, you know, when you're done with this on this project, we don't need you anymore for this.
Yeah.
We're not going to pay you to just stand around.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's normal.
The full statement from NetEase said, we recently made the difficult decision to adjust Marvel Rivals development team structure for organizational reasons and to optimize development efficiency for the game. This resulted in a reduction of a design team based in Seattle that is part of a larger global design function in support of Marvel Rivals. We appreciate the hard work and dedication of those affected and will be treating them with confidentiality and respectfully, with recognition for their individual contributions. We want to reassure our fan base that the core development team for Marvel Rivals, which continues to be led by lead producer, Mr. Wu.
Yeah.
Let's
Julia
go.
brought up the
There you
really
go.
good point. Some outrage is a good thing. Don't be trained to think to stay always quiet. That's true, Julia. But to be honest, sometimes it is a larger issue to rage against things that don't deserve it than to rage against things that do. Like it can be more of a problem if you flip out over things that you shouldn't be flipping out about. Because that sometimes, especially if it's about the same situation, if you flip out at the things that you shouldn't flip out about, it makes it when you flip out about the things that do, your impact is lessened. That's a huge deal in a lot of things in our society, where it's like, yeah, a real serious issue may be here, but if you're flipping out about the little stuff, people are going to take the serious issue a lot less. I mean, it's a don't cry wolf situation, you know?
Yeah.
So like, we got to make sure we're flipping out about the right stuff, or yeah, it's just a huge problem.
Yeah.
So,
The end of that statement, which I think was
better
the
yet,
actual,
don't flip out, but yeah.
which I think was the actual important part, says, we are investing more, not less, into the evolution of the growth of this game. We're excited to deliver new superhero characters, maps, features, and content to ensure an engaging live service experience for our worldwide player base. So, yeah, that all happened.
Someone in my chat, Vitios said the difference with the deck builder example is that the deck builder knows when his job is finished and he needs to line up the next work afterwards. I think that might be a poignant, a point to be made is that we hired you with kind of an open-ended thing, but now we don't need you anymore. We weren't sure how long we were going to need you, but turns out we don't need you now. So,
right.
But to be honest, like at this point, I feel like to properly analyze the situation, we need a lot of information we don't have, particularly like their positions, what they were told, like how long they were, like, for instance, were they told they were going to be able to work for another 2 years and they got fired early? That's kind of messed up. Like that'd be something to absolutely consider. At the same time, were they told specifically that their job is temporary and that it could end at any point? That's another important thing to consider. So yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, we'll see.
well,
if any...
honestly, like it's funny because like, welcome to being a streamer who's not under contract at all. It's just like, hey, if Twitch goes belly up, we're fucked. You know, like we got nothing else. Like, okay, well, I guess they can fire me for no reason at any time because we are private contractors with an open-ended contract that we think will last.
Yeah.
But if for any reason they want to let us go, they don't have to pay us anymore.
Yeah. It's basically what Cohh could be summed up, what Cohh said could be summed up like, this is where like an investigative journalist will go in and do the actual work, and then no one will read it or talk about it.
Yep.
So no one will follow up on that, or care to, I should say. This also came out around the time that news from NetEase that Marvel Rivals has passed 40 million players worldwide, and that NetEase has reported a net revenue of 2.9 billion. And the last quarter, is that? Yeah, for the last quarter, 2.9 billion. Which is an increase of 1.5% compared to the same quarter from 2023. So they are doing pretty good.
Doing all right.
They're doing all right.
Doing all right.
Yeah. Yeah. The game peaked at 644,000 on the Steam concurrent player count, not counting the console version of that game, which I'm sure has comparable numbers as well. So Rivals continues to rival. And they are still pushing updates. They had 2 new characters added this past week. And I think everyone's pretty happy with where that game is at from a balance perspective and everything in a meta perspective as well, especially with the most recent nerfs to all the healer stuff. So, JP, can you mention...
You still playing here, JP?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been playing... I've been doing more VR chat at night with the Rivals group, but we still play every once in a while. I played Thursday. I played Thursday, Friday, and the new patch. Check out the new patch. And it was good. Like, I like the new patch. It's a lot of fun. The nerf to healer support charge time made it so playing against 3 healer teams is not as annoying. Because you're not just constantly getting, like, defensive ults in there. You can actually kill shit. Which, it's fun being able to kill things in a game where you're supposed to defeat your opponents, instead of just listening to Luna or any of the other healers spam some fucking ultimate where no one can die. It was very frustrating, but seems to be in a good spot at this point.
Doing great.
Yeah, I was. Someone in my chat said, "JP, can you mention NetEase culling their non-Chinese teams?" I know that they put out like an initiative about that, and now it's a bigger deal, but I don't know the specifics for that the past week. Let me look for it real quick. NetEase. See what we can figure that out. Or see if we can figure that out. It's all just coming up with the rival stuff. Oh, there we go. Thank you for the link. Good chatter. More than a dozen, this was reported this past 22nd of February. Sorry, I couldn't find the byline. More than a dozen NetEase studios are reportedly at risk, including Nagoshi, Quantic Dream, and Grasshopper. The Chinese publisher has reportedly decided to divest from its international studios. Did they say exactly why? It says last month it was confirmed NetEase had split from Vancouver-based Worlds Untold. That was the studio founded with Mass Effect writer Mac Walters in 2023, as well as Seattle-based Jar of Sparks, the studio founded in 2022 by Xbox veteran Jerry Hook. A NetEase spokesperson denied to VentureBeat that the Marvel Rival cuts were part of a broad scaling back of its international game development. However, GameFile now has sources that claim the publisher is indeed significantly scaling back and actively shopping around its non-Chinese studios. One of GameFile's sources claims that NetEase plans to divest itself of the majority of its overseas teams, which could lead to a closure of more than a dozen game studios if they can't secure new funding.
Yeah, that might be a little brutal.
Yeah, this could include Japanese-based studios from Like a Dragon designer Toshihiro Nagaoshi and Resident Evil producer Hiroyuki Kobayashi, as well as Suda51's Grasshopper manufacturer. They also set up Studio Flare with former Marvelous board member Toshinori Aoki and BlazBlue series producer, and launched Pincool. Ton of fucking new studios, basically. A new studio led by Dragon Quest A9 producer. They also own Quantic Dream. New studios from Call of Duty designer, Control
They
Lead
also
designer.
Are the foundational backer of Ghost's new MMO, that big one that that they announced. He actually already announced that they are doubling down on his project. interestingly enough.
Oh, Ghost being Ghost Crawler.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
his big new MMO that they recently announced and also very publicly said NetEase was backing. So he did confirm that they are going to go ahead and do that one though.
Yeah.
That's good at least.
Yeah. Their full studio roster is kind of crazy. There's NetEase Montreal, Quantic Dream, Grasshopper Studio, Negoshi Studio, Pincool, Studio Flare, GP Track 50, Jackalyptic Games, T-0 Entertainment, Bad Brain Games, Anchor Point Studios, Skybox Labs, Spliced, Fantastic Pixel, Liquid Swords, and Rebel Wolves. Oh, Rebel Wolves is with them.
Rebel Wolves, yeah. Which
yeah.
if they drop funding for them, they'd be absolutely insane at this point. So hopefully that'll be continued.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they just had like a huge announcement with a ton of hype around it. So
yep,
that would
that
crush
project
that
is
studio.
incredibly hype.
Yeah. So you know, NetEase is NetEasing. What else is there? Supergiant Games, aka the Hades devs, they pushed out a big update to Hades 2 this week.
We got into a little bit of drama this week too.
There was also some drama,
Yeah.
around a voice actor who came out and said that they had been recast. I believe was the drama around that.
Was very quick to mention that the reason they weren't recasted was because Supergiant did not flip over their union contract.
Yeah.
They had a specific word for it, but yeah. And then that made Supergiant have to put out like an official message and all sorts of stuff. So
yeah, they put out the statement from Supergiant. I can pull it up. It's a Blue Sky post. That's cool that's where this got linked on and not Twitter.
which character? It's the person that voices Athena and two other characters. She does a great job in Hades 1. You'd probably instantly recognize her voice, their voice. But it's Athena, and does it say it here? The text is too small, but it doesn't say it here. But yeah,
it doesn't.
They do her and I think 3 other characters. Yeah, Athena in Hades 1. Yes. Yeah.
It was Alecto and Tisiphone.
Tisiphone.
Tisiphone, thank you. Yeah.
Tisiphone, yes.
Tisiphone, everyone's favorite character, Tisiphone. Yes.
And her friend Artemis.
Artemis. Everyone knows Artemis. Huge fans out
Huge
there
fan of
for
Artemis.
And her boss, Persephone.
Yeah, their statement, voice talent has been integral to each of our games. Recently, questions arose here about how we work with our voice talent, which we want to address. Actors breathe life and humanity in everything we do. Over time, we've gone from working with a small number from our team to dozens of individuals around the world. We offer the strongest AI protections in the industry to our talent, as we think their work is irreplaceable. Our games are intentionally made by human beings. No generative AI is being used in the creation of the voiceover, artwork, or any other content that goes into them. We have not recast any of our characters in Hades 2 and wish to keep working with each and every member of our wonderful cast. We have respected and will continue to respect any actor needing to pause work during the ongoing SAG-AFTRA video game strike. While none of our games have ever been subject to SAG-AFTRA contracts for a variety of reasons, we wish SAG-AFTRA the best in their negotiations to compel larger signatory studios to provide the kinds of protections we think actors deserve. So kind of a broad statement. They didn't.
Yeah, it's a situation where like I don't know if they wanted to get into the exact weeds of the legalese involved with everything going on right now, so they had to kind of keep it at arm's length. Honestly, I think they did a fine job. It's kind of a weird, messy situation with everything going on. So like they can only do so much without starting to step on toes,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, a lot of press releases this past week in the video game world. What else has?
Well, you didn't even mention the update. What was the update?
No, that was the update. That thing
was
I
the
just
update.
read was the update after
the whole drama
that's where it's
started
at
because
right now,
the big drama started because the voice actor went public saying, if you hear me recast, it's because of this. So
Gotcha. Okay.
And that set off a firestorm of
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What else happened? There was.
Hades just had a big update, but that's not what we're talking about. This is periphery.
Well, they have kind of the back half of the game now that they implemented. And everyone
That's
said,
what I
you
want
know,
to know about was the game actually. You know,
Yeah,
Just got a big
where
update.
it's at.
it is called they had a name for this. The War Song update is what they're calling it. The final confrontation is in the game. They added Ares to the boon list. New animal familiar is in the game. They put in a bunch of new events in the Crossroad. There's new art for the Altar of Ashes, which I'm not exactly sure what that is. And then they added 2,000 new voice lines and new events with most of the game's cast.
There's not a roundabout day for 1.0, is there?
Not yet. No.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure.
Making good progress though.
No, I'm happy to hear progress, but I'm still waiting for 1.0. Like,
Yeah, I'm the same. I got asked so many times if I'm going to play the update, and I'm like, I don't think so, man. Like, we've got to be getting somewhat close, hopefully, maybe. So, like, I'm getting ready for it too. I hear you.
Yeah, because Hades 1 had a 2-year post early access launch till 1.0 shipped. So I would assume
I want to say it was
Hades
like,
2
wasn't it about a year? Because they announced it on Epic, and then a year, like literally a year later, didn't they do the 1.0 on Steam? Or am I maybe thinking about that wrong? Is that Hades?
I think it was early access on Epic for 2 years, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe it was 2 years.
No,
Okay.
Chat's saying it was
Yeah.
1. Maybe
Okay.
1 year at least.
1 year at least.
We could
There
say
we
that
go.
at least, yeah.
We
Yeah,
used the
yeah.
little carrot sign. Okay, great. Perfect.
That's all that matters, yeah. I think everyone is in alignment that, yeah, we want Hades 2 1.0 as quick as possible. We all played the initial
But, I
game.
mean, yeah,
you
we
know.
all want it as soon as possible, but it's definitely a, take your time and let us know when you're done situation.
Yeah.
Super Giant is a peach.
Yep.
No
then
rush,
when
guys.
1.0
Take your time.
releases- And then when 1.0 releases, wait a couple of weeks for the day one patch. See,
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
after that. Then I'll play it. Then I'll play it.
We're all looking forward to it.
A couple weeks after 1.0, then I'll feel comfortable playing it.
Yep. We are all looking forward to it. What else is out there? I guess in terms of sales, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 announced that they have sold 2 million units in the game's first 2 weeks. This was 6 days ago, so I don't know what they're currently at with 3 weeks, but the game is doing well. 2 million
JCBP,
units yeah, there's nothing to scoff at whatsoever. And I've heard nothing but great games, great experiences, and how great of a game that is from kind of everyone that's played it. I would even say like people that aren't necessarily into that type of game are like, no, that game's the real deal. It's really, 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 really good.
Played it for about 3 hours before the show. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
How many hours do you have in it completely?
Oh man, let's take a look here. I am currently at 100.7 hours.
You got to be getting close to the end, no?
No.
No, not at all. I thought it was around 120 hours.
Bro, I haven't even like started the map I'm on basically.
So there's no hope before
Yeah.
Wilds for you, eh? That ship is
well,
sailed.
my goal is to get Avowed done.
Okay, get Avowed done.
I'm not even trying to get KCD2 done before
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Wilds. No, not even trying.
Got
Not
it.
even trying.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Is to finish Avowed. Another game where they're like, this one's shorter. Yeah, no problem.
I
fucking
decided at
bullshit.
the beginning of February, like I'm not in every game that I play for the foreseeable future, I'm going to take my time in. I tried to do this like, let me rush to finish this game and that game last year. Let me see if I can get this done before this comes out. And it's like, it just led to so many playthroughs ending poorly.
Yeah.
Like it
Kinda
just
burn
so
out.
like, yeah, you get when you've decided mentally that you are done with a game, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having in it. It affects it. It affects how you feel in the game.
Sure.
Like if you're because you're mentally somewhere else. You're mentally like, let me just get this done so I can get to the next thing, or you're thinking about the deadline and stuff like. So I've removed that from the equation.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm doing my best this year to just manage expectations.
Makes a lot of sense. So I mean, especially when you play like 100+ hour games, for sure.
Yep.
That can happen a
Like,
lot.
dude, I had to make the tough decision not play Yakuza. It sucks,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
like
that came out this
I
past
couldn't
week.
have 3 playthroughs going and then Monster Hunter Wilds come out. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So you gotta make sacrifices.
Hey, it happens.
We'll
It'll
get back
always
to it.
be there.
We'll get back to it.
It will always be there. That was kind of that, and Avowed, I guess, officially released on Tuesday. It was in early access for 5 days prior to that. And if you missed the show, we did have Carrie Patel, the game director, on last week with Dan and Gathalion. That VOD's up for you to watch. I did.
Sad I missed that one.
Yeah, I mean, Carrie's just.
You gotta have her back on. If she's down for it.
I told.
I have so many questions for her now.
I told their the Avowed handler, like, Carrie's welcome on the show. Like, she, even if she just doesn't want to talk about Avowed, just come on the show and talk about video games. She's just she's a great guest.
Really fun.
And we absolutely loved having her on. So we'll see if we can get her back. She did miss you too. She made a explicit statement that you two were missed. So figured I'd pass that along. Speaking of Avowed, apparently the news came out that game took 6 years to make and had 2 reboots internally. It started as, this is Bloomberg.com doing the reporting. Is this Schreier?
Jason. It's a Jason thing.
Yeah, it's a Jason Schreier thing. It started as a multiplayer
joint.
take on Skyrim, which,
And thank God they decided not to do that.
yeah, makes a lot of sense given that, I guess, state of video games in that regard. But yeah, 6 years, rebooted twice. I'm pretty happy with what we got. Carrie was the one that was saying this in the interview. I'm reading through it, just scanning it real quick. I feel like I learned so much over the past few years that I wish I'd known at the start of the process. It's definitely been a job where the highs are really high and the lows are really low. Started in 2018. This Obsidian executives were gearing up to sell the company after 15 years of independence. This is a pretty long interview over at Bloomberg, so I would say if you're more interested in it, to go check it out. But I'm glad that we got what we got and not whatever a multiplayer.
Oh God, 100%.
A multiplayer take on Skyrim. Isn't that just an MMO? At that like?
Well, small. I'm thinking they were thinking like Destiny style.
Oh, like a
small
four
group.
man or something.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm very glad they decided not to do that. That would have been miserable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Scanning last news here, then we can talk Avowed for just a little bit more. I think that's kind of it. Chat, any other stuff you want us to bring up? Monster Train 2 got announced. Zeke, you were a big Monster Train fan, right?
Yeah, I wasn't like a fanboy of it, but I did enjoy it thoroughly, and I played many hours of the first one. I'd never beat it, but I did. It was a very solid idea and deck builder type game, and I did enjoy it, but it didn't have the, I don't know. It didn't have something that made me want to finish it.
Okay. Got it. There was some, it's like not, it's weird for me to talk about it because it's not
Apparently I have
necessarily
173 hours in it, so it was good.
Yeah, I remember you playing that game a lot. That's why I brought it
so.
up.
I guess it was
I don't know how
okay
I
then, right? Yeah, I guess it was okay.
Yeah, I don't know how I didn't finish it, but it's like Slay the Spire. Like I have over 1,000 hours in Slay the Spire, and I doubt all of that was because I was playing it the whole time.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that you can just like leave on, watch a movie, come back to, yada yada yada. So I'm sure a lot of those hours are just like idle hours, but
Yeah.
I mean, still 173. Like even if 20% of those hours were idle, that's still a lot of fucking hours.
Yep. Chat wanted me to bring up, and rightfully so. But it's weird because there's not like a post about it. They didn't like say anything as a company that I've seen. But Chris Wilson, who we've had on the show, has been on countless shows, is apparently no longer the director of Path of Exile.
Yeah. Now, hold on. Now, unless anything new has come out, the only thing that's based on is the fact that they saw an NZ business entry that shifted it to Jonathan.
Yeah.
Now, for those that know, this exact thing happened like a year ago that turned out to be just a paperwork thing. It didn't mean anything. So we have no idea what this means. We don't know if Chris left the project. He hasn't said anything. There's no LinkedIn posts. No one in the team has said anything, and everything everyone's saying is just guessing.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
It is. It's
Like,
one of those things like
this,
I saw it because I guess this is putting him on blast. That's not the intention, but I saw it because Ziz posted about it.
Ziz posted about it, and then
Yes.
Bex replied, not confirming what Ziz said, but confirming the information that he called up in the tweet was accurate. Not saying that she confirmed that Chris had actually left.
Got it. Okay.
So then that spread around to Ziz said this, and Bex responded yes. And it's like, no, she didn't at all. So like, yeah, we're all still very much guessing.
Yeah. The initial tweet was, just saw the news that Chris Wilson has stepped down as director of Path of Exile. Hope they make some sort of send-off post. Chris is responsible for a very, very large chunk of my gaming hours. Insane how much effort he put into Path of Exile 07. And then no one said anything after that. So, I don't know. I figured you would see some sort of response of no, yes, it's complicated, but nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah, absolutely nothing. And then PoE 1 launched into like a half Z patch with some new ascendancies and stuff this past week, which I did not check out. It's not essentially a new league or anything. It's just it's a half Z patch. It's hey, we had a dev that could push a PoE 1 update, and you guys are craving updates, so here we go. And that's what essentially came out. I've heard pretty good things about it, but hey, PoE 1's always been a good game, so I'm not shocked to hear that. Even if it is just a short amount of fun.
Yada King says, I think there's a clip from Ziz saying that he asked Chris personally. Okay, I haven't heard anything about that, so I can't comment.
I haven't either. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not either.
But interesting.
I'm
Last
sure
time this happened, didn't Chris publicly state he was with the company? I think they did eventually say something like that,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. But I don't think it was instant.
I don't think so either.
But, yeah. Oh,
I
here we
don't
go.
think so
Okay,
either.
hold on. Someone's linking a clip. Interestingly enough.
I can
Let me
play
pop
the
that in
audio.
here. It's
Okay.
probably porn, so please be careful.
No, it's a clip.
Ziz is a wily bandit.
I'm gonna play it so chat can hear it. You guys won't be able to hear it.
Okay.
So he could still be working there, just not the boss? No,
Nice face, man.
there is no chance
What's
of that.
that?
I've talked to him. He does not work there anymore.
Let me just
yeah.
hear it real quick.
I mean, he literally just says
Okay.
he does not work
Can
there
you play
anymore.
it?
I talked to him. I played it for chat. You guys didn't hear it.
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
He
thought
just
you were playing it
says-
for you to make sure it wasn't porn. Okay. No, we're
I've
good.
talked to him. He does not work there
So-
anymore.
Yeah,
Ziz said-
he says, I've talked to him. He does not work there anymore, with a very solemn face as he says it. So,
Oh,
I mean, that's
well, there you go. Okay. Well, damn.
pretty much confirmed. I mean, I believe
if
Ziz.
Ziz talked to the guy, yes, I would say that that's about confirmed.
Yeah.
But then this is weird. That means that he did leave the company and they're not making a public statement about it.
And he's not either, right? So, I don't know. Maybe there's...
That's weird.
Yeah, maybe there's something
That's
nefarious. I don't know.
weird.
At least that's where your mind goes, is like, why wouldn't they say anything
Lafrey
about it?
says Ziz is also known for deadpan sarcasm. This isn't that would be that it's not Ziz's style to create drama. No. I don't for a second think Ziz is even joking about that. I don't think he would joke about that.
Yeah.
Remember, PoE is his life, man. Like, that'd be a very weird thing to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll see if anything comes out of that.
Yeah.
over
Hopefully we'll
the
hear
next-
soon from GGG.
I mean, technically Monday is now in New Zealand, so maybe tonight they'll say something about it.
Oh God. Well, be crazy if they're like, so we've decided to walk back our plans concerning PoE 1. They wonder if they're crafting that announcement right now. The success of PoE 2 has shown us that we need to focus our resources.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yep. Zeke, I think Cohh, was Pacific Drive on your top 10, or was that just Zeke? That might have just been Zeke. The Pacific
What?
Drive sold 1 million copies. They put out the news they sold 1 million
Good
copies.
for them. No, I hadn't
Yeah.
heard that. That's great. The game's fantastic.
Awesome news.
Good freaking for them.
I hope we get more. That's great. It's great
Yeah.
news.
Great game.
I really did too. I mean, it was my game of the year. I really, really enjoyed it. Apparently,
Oh,
So,
that's
like,
right. It was your game of the year. Yeah.
Yeah. It just grabbed me like no other game last year did. It was great.
Yep. I think that's kind of it on game news. At least for now. Right now, everyone's in a holding pattern in terms of the streaming world, and I would say maybe the greater video game world, because Wilds comes out at the end of the week. I saw today that the review embargo is tomorrow, actually. I don't know the exact time tomorrow, but reviews will be out.
That's not the streaming embargo, is it?
No, I have
thank
not
God.
seen
Oh, thank
that
God. Okay.
publicly, so I'm not going to say when that is until someone else says it, because that's
Yeah.
how this industry works.
That's how this industry works. That's right. Who's going to be the person to pop the cork?
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm sure it'll happen at some point, and then we'll share when everyone will be going live with Wilds later this week. Let's talk games. Avowed. Obviously, it's been out. Cohh, you mentioned you've been playing it.
Yep.
We talked about
Real
it last
quick.
week. Yeah. We're not going to talk
Before
about
we go into Avowed,
Let's hear
I
it.
just started it. I played a few hours last night. I'm thinking I'm going to enjoy. I'm not streaming it. I'm just playing on my own time. It's mine.
Okay.
I had a lot of options, and I was like, you know what? I saw my lady playing it. I'm like, that looks like a game for me. And I started playing it last night. I'm like, yeah, it seems like a game for me, and I'm really liking it.
Nice.
So if we could avoid general spoilers,
yeah, we
that would
won't.
be great for me personally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I got to
And
ask.
I'm fully willing to talk about it.
Okay. Yeah.
I gotta
didn't know you were
ask.
playing it.
When I played that game and looked through all of it, I actually said on stream, I think I've said it multiple times, where I'm like, I bet Zeke is going to love the mage power fantasy in this game. Like, I know that every time we play like Dark Souls and stuff, you're like, can I be a mage? Can I be a mage? Dude, like Avowed
pretty
is
good.
a game you can be a mage.
Yeah.
Like hardcore. I was wondering if that was something that attracted to you.
No, it definitely is, and I am playing mage with a scholar background, I think.
Cool.
Or no, the noble background. That's what it was, noble.
That's what I'm
Noble?
doing. Nice. Yeah.
But I'm off stream. I will play games like this on the hardest difficulty, and they've got my ass handed to me. Like first couple of fights, holy shit! The first thing is hard. I'm like, all right. I was getting a little pissed off in the first couple of hours because I'm like, no magic, no spells. They give me a sword and a shield right away. I'm like, fuck, they're gonna fuck me. But they do, like, eventually, like, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like after the first couple hours, they do give you some mage gear. So I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna wreck face. I'm gonna go, and I'm like, pew, dead. Fuck. Okay, let me try this again. Fuck dead. God damn it. The hardest difficulty is pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, it is one of those games, kind of like any RPG. It's hard at the beginning. As soon as you actually like get proper skills and get a build going, it's not that bad. It's not that bad after that. But the beginning's pretty tough, and I think mage is actually the hardest at the beginning. Melee is like preferred.
That's for someone who plays D&D. That's totally familiar because at the beginning, wizards are like, stay in the back, cast your 2 spells a day, and we'll take care of the rest.
Yeah.
And then after like 5th level, it's just like, mage, go get him. Like, okay, I got this.
Yeah. Sorry, skipping past the opening stuff here to get to more just adventuring for spoiler purposes. This is the very beginning of the game, though, so you're not. This is very mundane, I guess, to put it bluntly. But yeah, it's awesome. It's exactly what I wanted from this game, and that is a exploration game that has story that, for me, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and I can just get back out there and start beating the shit out of things and be rewarded by going around a corner, looking underneath a tree and checking every waterfall, and there's a chest. And like they nailed
yet another
all of
reason. Yet another reason I'm not streaming this, because I'm like, I bet I could get up there. Hour later, like maybe I can't get up there yet, or I
Yeah.
can't get over there yet.
Yeah. Well, it's the type of game where you go to a place and you have not been rewarded. You know that there's something there because you get rewarded for everything in this game.
I have frequently turned around when leaving places and been like, I didn't loot a good chest there. Hold on. I must have missed
Yep.
a wall or an underwater passage or like 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and in my chat, at least for streaming it, because I'm going over everything with like a fine tooth comb, and the way that the game works is there's like a treasure chest shimmer noise. I don't know how to really describe it. It's like a hum, kind of. There's no Witcher sense or anything in the game, but there's a slight hum when you're near something, when you're near loot or a chest.
The loot tingle.
Yeah, the loot tingle. Let's call it that. That you can like walk into a room and hear something, and so I'll just start looking around. And they like kind of devilishly. They're somewhat bastards about it in some rooms where it's just a little notch in a random thing on a wall, in a bookshelf, in anywhere, and then you hit it, and you can like track a power cord over to a wall, and you watch it go across the wall. Then a big door opens up, and there's a chest behind it, and you're like, fuck yeah. Let's go get this item that I'm not going to use ever at all, but I got it, and it's going in my stash. Yeah.
Damn right.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
That is why I'm enjoying the game so much, because that never stops. That never lets up with the way that they've hidden everything.
You know what it reminds me of? Like, because I really don't have that many hours in it. Probably like 3 hours in it, give or take. But like, what it reminds me of is what I wanted Elder Scrolls Combat to be like. It's more arcadey and it's more like set. It's like swing, block, tack, block, swing, dodge, and it's like very like move set based. Whereas Skyrim and Oblivion and that kind of stuff, it's a little more messy. This one is way, way less messy and more like, if I got hit, it was because I wasn't paying attention. It was because like I was overwhelmed by 2 or 3 enemies or something like that. Whereas in Skyrim, it's like, I'm going to swing around until everybody's dead. This one's like, you have to fucking tactics, like, use your tactical brain to figure out how to beat battles, which I really enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree 100% with that. The combat is like one of its strengths, and it's like you seek those fights out. I'm not like trying to get away from fights. I don't like, you can stealth your way in, right? And like take a guy out before the fight starts. But no, I just immediately start shooting the second that I see someone. I started as a mage, Zeke. Last week, right before the show, I swapped to two-hander, kind of like what Cohh's using here at the start of his playthrough. And then about 30 hours in, I got an item that dropped, and it made me respec everything. So now I'm Dex, and I have a giant two-handed gun, and my chat hates me because when I reload, it breaks the immersion for them. Because the guy just goes...
Why is that?
Because he reloads so fast, it doesn't look human. Because he's jacked up his reload.
And then it's like the fight's over, and I'm just running. I can show you a clip that won't be spoiler.
So it's like watching a really good cook at like Benihana's or whatever, like some hibachi guy, like.
Yeah.
How the fuck are you making a volcano out of onion rings?
I think everything can be broken in this game, but it definitely comes across as like, oh, this is actually broken because of it just looks stupid. Like the hand movements, everyone's like, is this game sped up? Like, why are you playing at like 2x speed? You're not, that my game doesn't look like that type deal. And it's just because I put all my points in Dex, which is like action speed and move speed. And then I have all my armor has plus move speed
attack
on
speed.
it. Yeah, attack speed, yeah. Then all my armor has movement speed on it, and I have abilities that when I get a kill, I get movement speed and like, yeah. And I'm always drinking water, which gives you 25% movement speed. Or food is really fun in this game. You can get a shit ton of different foods that help you in so many different situations. Instead of just like restoring HP, they can give you like plus X to all stats, plus 20% damage to 20% damage and 20% damage reduction. Like, food's very, very good. You should definitely be investing in that. A lot of people have come into my chat and be like, I didn't even know you could cook. And I don't know how that's possible, but I guess if you don't go to the camp and like walk over to the campfire, they don't really explicitly say it.
Also, the food, the mechanics and the UI for how you use and make food is pretty garbage.
Yes.
It's pretty terrible.
It's like,
yeah.
There's no other, terrible is a great way to describe it. It's not
terrible. It's poorly designed and it's very clunky and obtrusive.
Yeah. Yeah. So many clicks, so many weird things where there's not really a key bind. You have to like, at least
having to sort through multiple radial menus. Like just, it's
oh, I can't even use the radial menu for food. Cause there's like five different things.
How do you do it? You do it from the inventory?
I go to inventory. I just hit I, open up my inventory. It pauses the game and then I just go and eat.
Well, damn, I have never done that.
Yeah. Cause
maybe that sounds a lot better than what I've been doing.
It's so much. It's almost like, it's like, have you ever seen Sky UI for Skyrim?
Yeah.
It looks very much like that in terms of how you can read and process the information.
I will definitely check that out tonight.
And so I just spam it and click that and I'm good to go. Because the radial menu is shit. I've always been against radial menus for some reason, but this one specifically is bad.
Yeah.
It's very much a consolification of that system without question.
Yeah.
So, but use food, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm just enjoying walking around. I'm curious for the two of you. This was one of those games that like when we first saw it, everyone was like, I don't like the look of that. And then kind of every time that we saw more of it, it's like, okay, I'm coming around on the graphics. Now, after seeing this game with the day and night system, I think this game's actually like really good looking. Like there's multiple times where I've just stopped and been like, holy shit.
Oh, dude, especially the vistas, like the top of this area.
Yeah,
and like
gorgeous.
I just got to the desert area. Like there's so many ledges and stuff where you just like come around the side out of a cave and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like this looks amazing.
There's some really pretty stuff in this game. And so I'm glad that didn't like dissuade me from playing it. I guess that they kept on improving that over time because it looks very crazy.
So one of my chat was like, meh, just another UE game. I imagine that's the same kind of person where when graphics become realistic, they're like, man, I'll just go outside and look at a waterfall. Like, I don't need this. Like, whatever. That grass looks good, I'll just go outside and look at grass. I don't need this.
That's true. Yeah. Game looks better at night too, for what it's worth.
To that point, like when I fired it up for the first time in the opening scene of the ship going through the little canal and the islands on the side, I actually sat back and I was like, I audibly said, wow, that's gorgeous. Yeah. Like to nobody. Like I was just sitting here and it was, yeah, it's impressive how good it looks. Like there are some slight downfalls like that aren't as good, like aren't the toppest notch. Like the mouth movements, they're good. They are very good. Well, they're not like Senua's Sacrifice good or like Horizon Zero Dawn good or Horizon whatever good.
This takes us to the interesting part of the conversation about Avowed, because Avowed is really it's an interesting project in terms of how much of a mixed bag it is. And it's also very interesting in terms of like how we've seen expectations and managed expectations. Like this game, Avowed, does some things really, really well. Like the combat is a lot of fun. The exploration is actually a lot of fun. The movement and traversal is super arcadey. If you're a Pillars of Eternity fan, the writing and stuff is fantastic. Like I'm a huge Pillars of Eternity fan. I am emphatically in love with how much lore is jammed into this. Like every time they give me information, I feel like that somebody came through and was like, is there enough PoE lore in that? Is there enough PoE? Okay, let's add some here and put some in. And I love that because I felt the exact opposite in Dragon Age of Veilguard, where I was basically begging for them to please make me feel like this is a Dragon Age game, and they just didn't. That's the opposite in this game, where it's clear that they tried extensively to make the game feel like a Pillars of Eternity game. The locations, the enemies, the dialogue, all of that. I love it. It's too much for some people. In fact, to the point where they're like, not only do I not know this lore, but I just feel like the characters are spouting lore at me and not actually being people. I get that. I understand that, which is kind of like, it's an interesting line that Obsidian had to walk because they needed to make people that are fans of the franchise like me make it feel like Pillars of Eternity, but also have to bring in an entire new audience that may have nothing or know nothing about it and may not be interested in it. Let's be real. So that's been a point of contention. And the major issue with this, and I don't want to say it's an issue with the game. I don't know if this is an issue with the game or an issue with us or an issue with anyone really. Maybe it's just a human thing. But the thing that's been interesting about this game is people expect things from this game that the game never said they were going to give them. In fact, in some cases, they numerous times said that they weren't going to get that. That's not the kind of game it was. But the game comes out, videos get made being like, look at all this stuff that isn't in this game. And then without even looking at what the game does well, people just go, oh, so you're telling me that Oblivion could do this, but Avowed couldn't? Oh, Skyrim could do that, but Avowed can't? Game's garbage, trash. How is it like this 15 years later?
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous. I'm not even going to look into if this game is good because it, I can't shoot an arrow straight up and the NPCs don't have day-night cycles. This is a step back. This game's garbage. And the thing that's crazy about that is it's like, they never said this game was a sandbox. They never said that this was going to be the next Skyrim. Look at the game this was based on, Outer Worlds. A lot of the stuff in this game is exactly the same. I mean, if you were to make that video about Oblivion and Skyrim versus Witcher 3, it'd say a lot of the same stuff. So it made this weird thing where people that don't even know what the game is, they don't even know what's good about it, are swearing it off because it doesn't have things that they didn't say would be in the game.
Right.
And then those same people come into my channel. Those same people come into my channel and they go, how are you playing this game? Haven't you seen the Oblivion versus Avowed video?
I was saying
just
that
like,
yesterday that I do not
I'm like,
envy your audience because every once in a while I'll be at the top of the directory and that'll kind of float like stream tourist, as it were, that, first time message just be like, this quest is woke.
But no, here is the biggest problem with this.
And I'm like,
and funny enough, dude, I was going back and forth.
The same stuff you just did.
I was going back and forth with Gene Park about this on Twitter, where it's like, okay, let's the problem with that conversation, the problem is when you do a comparison, and this goes, funny enough, back to that cry wolf thing we were talking about earlier. Like, when's the right time to complain? If you watch that video, and I've watched both of them, of Oblivion and Skyrim versus this game, they absolutely ping a whole bunch of things that an immersive sandbox game
I'll have to watch
has
that.
versus a narrative ARPG. Tons of things. Day-night cycles, objects not being simulated, NPCs having full AI, tons of stuff. And the problem is if you look at that objectively, those videos are ridiculous. They're ridiculous and they mean nothing. Because our game, like Avowed, is not trying to do a lot of those things. Avowed is not, every NPC doesn't have a house in Avowed. So how could they have a day-night cycle? Like all of this, they don't have itineraries. There's no AI in them. They're placeholders. But the problem is that by looking at those videos and going, look how ridiculous it is that this stuff isn't in it, the game's garbage, no real person that's looking at both sides can take those videos seriously. And that means that we can't have the very real discussion of what Avowed is doing isn't enough and should be better.
Sure.
So like the thing that I was pointing out is it's like, no, did we expect the NPCs in Avowed to all have a house, to all have AIs, to be fully simulated with an itinerary where they walk around and do things all day? Like, did we expect that from Avowed? No, we didn't expect that. But we did expect NPCs and cities to be more than just a static thing standing there. We did expect more immersive mechanics than we got. Like, those are real discussions that I feel we can have. Like, there are things in Avowed that absolutely could be done better and absolutely need some work and absolutely, especially for a $70 price tag, should be fixed, updated, or changed. But we can't really have that conversation when people are swearing the game off through hugely popular YouTube videos, saying that there's features that the devs didn't even say were going to be in the game aren't in it. You know what I'm saying? Like it obfuscates all of this stuff. And it's loud, it's vacuous, it's completely meaningless. And worst of all, you now have people swearing off the game that don't even know what the game does well.
Right.
They have no idea why people like the game. They don't understand. They look at me and they go, how could you possibly like this game? How could you like it? Haven't you seen the Obsidian and Skyrim videos? And I go, I like the game because I'm a PoE fan and I love the narrative. It's gorgeous. I'm loving the exploration. The combat is super fun. The itemization is pretty cool, and I can change my build all the time. The skill system's kind of engaging. Like, there's tons of reasons to like the game. There's a lot of good reasons not to. But there's a lot of reasons to as well.
Right.
So it mutes and muddles the conversation on if the game is actually good or not, because a lot of people swearing it off don't even know. They don't even care to know. They don't even care to check. Oh, it doesn't do this stuff, so I don't even care about the game anymore.
Yeah.
Which is honestly, like, that sucks for them more than anyone else. Because they might like it. Who knows?
Right.
But it ruins and it destroys, like, all of the, like, we can't talk about if the story and the narrative and, like, how that is and how good it is and stuff like that. It's hard to when everyone else is just screaming about it, not being able to shoot arrows in the air and land in front of you.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think at the end of the day, it's a bigger, like, Avowed, and the conversation around Avowed is like a microcosm of a bigger issue within the gaming space. That's just right now, video game conversation and the zeitgeist of anything is like what this does wrong. It's all negative. It's all anger. It's all like, oh, fucking fuck this shit. I'm pissed. I'm angry. And it's every game that comes out. Every game that comes
jumping
out.
to conclusions. Like,
Yes.
instead of additively looking at what is good in a game and does it add up to a good experience, they go, what's not in the game and should it make me angry?
Yes. Yeah.
And if that answer is yes, then I'm going to get angry and I'm not even going to look at the other stuff. I'm just going to get angry and say that the game sucks. I'm not going to even blink or care to look at if there's anything good in it.
Right.
I'm just going to watch a few YouTube videos and get mad. And
right.
it's like,
and
sucks.
that's the issue right there is the
That's
YouTube, what you just said, I'm going to watch YouTube videos. The algorithm feeds that, right? So like,
oh, completely.
It's the algorithm working against conversation and people knowing that and using it for their own good to like make hate rage videos because those are going to get views. Whereas if you make a video that's like, man, Avowed's great, you're going to get the spin-off commenters or bots from those videos that just pass by and be like, nope, this game has all women leaders. Woke. Like, you're just, what are we doing? What is going on?
It's unfortunate, man. Like, yeah.
This whole conversation is a reminder. I don't know who said it. I don't know who the quote is attributed to, but it's so present and it's just growing more and more and more and more every day that comparison is the thief of joy.
Right.
So you compare this game to any other game. It's like, of course, there are two different games. Are going to be different. There's going to be things you like from this, things you like from that. But like, man, you are ruining your chance to have a good time in this game if you're constantly comparing it to other shit.
Yes.
I had
It's
a
like,
person
this game
last
has
night.
stuff that it does great, and like that it does better than the games you're comparing it to. Just stop. Just like try to view it objectively. Like try to just fucking stop comparing shit.
Yeah.
Let's be very real here as well. I am not by any means saying this is the great game that everyone needs to play. Like, not at all. Like, that is not the conversation. We're not trying to sell you that Avowed is actually a great game and you were wrong. It's just to approach the conversation in the way that it has been makes it so that you're not even on the same level when you're talking about the game. And that is what needs to fix. Like, there's lots of great reasons to not like this game. Let's talk about those. And maybe the devs will hear, and then it will get better. But instead, it's like, you don't even get to that point. You don't even get to the point where you get to talk about, like, if the game is good or bad these days. It's already decided before you even play it, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, like, but for instance, for me, like,
social media in a
I've
nutshell.
had major issues with the game. And actually, we could talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
Completely empty underwater areas, especially in the first area. Like, that drove me crazy. The fact that NPCs just stand around and do nothing, like at least some rudimentary walk around the city stuff or ambient conversation, like just the littlest bit to not make it feel like I'm walking through a museum. Just something.
Yeah.
On top of that, there's the food system is garbage. The ability system, the fact that you don't have enough hotkeys for all of your keys and your companions, that's crazy. The carry weight system is one of the most poorly designed systems I've seen in any game. It's literally a vestige mechanic. It shouldn't be in the game. Carry weight should not be in the game. And the fact that it's attached to a main stat and items as a stat is mind-blowingly bad.
Yeah.
And you know, we could keep doing this. There's all sorts of little things about the game. The class system in general should be 10 times deeper. Instead of fighter, range, and wizard, we should see like 6 to 10 classes from PoE 1 and then have much further, deeper customization there. Companions got completely neutered. I mean, even coming from Outer Worlds, which is their previous game,
That's what I was about
companions
to
got
ask.
reduced.
Like,
Yep.
comparing
But-
it to Outer Worlds, is everything
Yep.
you just said also the same?
No, there. In most cases, this game improves on Outer World stuff, but
Okay.
companions were a step back. Yeah,
Got it.
companions in general were a pretty big step back.
Okay.
But somebody just said the carry weight isn't bad at all. Just break your stuff down. No, that's the point. The carry weight mechanic has been completely invalidated to the point where all it is a reminder to open your inventory and break shit down.
Or send it
The
to camp. Yeah.
entire point of carry weight, and that is why do you have that item on stats and stuff? Then just have a timer that goes off every 2 hours. Like what? Like
Yeah.
that's terrible. But yeah, so there's lots of issues with this game, lots of issues. If anything, I wouldn't quite say it's to the point where I'd call it like a janky game, but it feels like a game that needed more cook time. Interestingly enough, we have 2 important bits of information that can kind of confirm that. And that is the fact that the game got rebooted twice from Jason's article, can probably lead there to be some downtime. And then Josh Sawyer, creative director over at Obsidian, he has been doing charity streams.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I was in one last night, and he is super cool about answering questions from chat. And he gave a very telling answer when actually someone from my community asked him, like, why are companions in Avowed like less RPG-y than they were in Outer Worlds, especially with the RPG foundation of Avowed? And Josh said straight up, it was a time and resource issue. So if they were having time and resource issues on like companion characters, I can only believe what they were having time and resource issues on concerning all this other stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So that brings up the interesting question, like, are they going to keep working on this game? Somebody yesterday asked, like, hey, Cohh, do you think this game is going to get like a Cyberpunk 2.0 kind of thing one day? And that leads to a bunch of other discussions, like the intention and perspective of some of the decisions they made. But it does lead me to believe that this game definitely is a little undercooked. And at times it does feel like that. At times it doesn't. Like sometimes combat just clicks. You have an awesome sequence of combat for like 10 minutes straight. It feels good. Everything's awesome. You end and your companions have interesting things to say. Like sometimes it feels fantastic, but other times, like the emptiness of the ocean and things like that are just kind of like, this doesn't really feel like Obsidian. Like this feels like you need another pass here. But yeah, hopefully we'll see that. But the game definitely has issues. It just has some really good stuff too.
Yeah. I think it comes down to like what you want from it at the end of the day, and what you want to. 1, what you want from it, and 2, what it does well. If it aligns with those things, then yeah, you're really going to enjoy it. But if it doesn't, you're going to have some issues with it.
Yeah. I got to say,
that's
though,
all games, I guess, at the grand scheme of things.
Especially with the writing and everything, I definitely, it's hard for me to recommend, like I do, and I will, but the experience of playing this game is, for me, like so much richer having the Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2 foundation. The amount of like reward they give you for kind of like knowing the names and knowing the locations and knowing the lore, and it is, this game in many ways is kind of a love letter to Pillars of Eternity fans. It makes the experience palpably better if you play through those 2 games first.
Yeah, I will say so I played through Pillars 2. I didn't play Pillars 1, but in a lot of ways, Marius, who's a companion that you get pretty early on, I feel like his entire existence is to remind you, like, hey, here's a world thing. Here's something about the Obsidian. Here's the aura. Here's some more aura fact drops, you flarfanoggin. By the way, a flarfanoggin is a reference to a god. And that god is another flarfanugin. And that flarfanugin, I can't stand Marius. I think he's annoying as shit. But
you know what the best, you know what the funny part is?
You might like him because you're a PoE fan.
Opposite. I love him because every time he opens his little dwarf mouth, he says something PoE, and I'm like, oh, I know what that is. I know what you're talking about. That's awesome.
Every line is a massive drop in the PoE
Marius,
world. Yeah.
my boy, my boy Marius.
Yeah.
Keeping it real.
I like
Yeah.
the other. I think Kai is a great companion. That's
Oh,
Garrus.
whoever decided to get Garrus in this project, man, I tell
Dude,
you.
we asked Carrie
oh,
about that. She said that it was
give him a raise.
it was just a tryout process, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of fit what we want to do."
He
And-
not only, it's so great hearing, but he fits that character so well, like with little snarky replies everywhere and everything. It's great. It's great. And they got him wearing blue again. Somebody in my chat was like, is this character ever going to escape blue? Like, is this voice actor just always going to be blue no matter where he is?
Yeah.
Oh, I love
and
it.
apparently Carrie primarily wrote Kai as a character.
Carrie did?
Yeah, that's
Oh, that's
Carrie's
cool.
writing. Yeah,
That's very cool.
That's cool.
I swear to God, if he does not say the word calibration before the end of the game, though, I'm going to burn the building down.
I don't think he's said it yet.
If they can get the God of War to say indeed, I'm just saying it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I have faith in Carrie.
I'm curious your thoughts on like the writing. Have you noticed all the like memes that are subtly entered into the game? That's very Obsidian, right?
It is. It's at times a little tonally immersion breaking. At times, yeah. Okay. What I've been telling my chat is if I had tonal issues with Dragon Age of Veilguard at a solid 8 or 9 out of 10, in this game it's like a 1 to 2. Like it's not
Okay.
devoid. It's not like there are things about this world that are far more modern and less immersive than I would like. A lot of the language selection, some of the terms they use, stuff like that. Like, but you know, at the same day, I'm kind of a purist in that regard, where I like my fantasy games to be rooted in whatever world they are. I don't need, like, a lot of people feel the opposite. They're like, no, it's fine to put modern day connections in my fantasy and historical games. It keeps it relevant. I'm like, no, I don't want to hear a single one of those words. I'd be in the real world if I wanted to hear that. Don't do that at all. Then again, I was playing frickin' KCD2 today, and a guy goes, as if! And I was like, am I watching Clueless in the 90s? Like, what is this?
That was Paul Rudd. They got Paul Rudd.
My God, man. And
Alicia Silverstone. Sorry.
Dude, I'm going to wake up in my inn the next day, and there's going to be a peasant holding a boombox under my window. Like, I don't even know what to do with that. But it's been overall okay. And I have enjoyed, as a Pillars of Eternity fan, I've really enjoyed the dialogue. I love Giada. Like she like all the voice acting has been really solid. So it's awesome to hear them like delivering solid PoE lore, like in a way that makes sense. Also, for me, the main story has been wildly engaging because again, coming from Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, like I understand the whole Pantheon. I know how the wheel works. I was there when things happened to it.
Yeah.
So, like it adds like all these really interesting nuanced questions to the whole thing that's going on. And every time you get fed a bit of lore, you're like, oh, is this related to this, or this? Or maybe it's related to this event in 1, or maybe this event in 2. Like, how's that going to function in the greater Pantheon? So it's made it very enjoyable, for sure. Like I said, it really is a love letter to PoE fans. If you know all this stuff, the story gets layers that you just don't see unless you play the games.
Yeah. Zeke, I think one thing for you that I know you will like is and we asked Carrie about this last week, it does a lot of yes and in the game and actually lets you choose story beats that haven't, at least yet, fully paid off, but they're the type of things where it's like, hey, how do you know this person? Or, hey, how are you related to this person? And you have full reign to just choose, like, oh, this person was an ex-lover. Oh, I hated that person. That person was a fling. Oh, I've never met that person type deal. And like that type of stuff was actually pretty cool being thrown into what is rather a heavily built world already. Being able to like make
so it's
those
not
decisions.
just like four different ways of saying yes. Then
No. In
Yeah.
fact, you can bring up entire topics that aren't talked about in the conversation. Like we actually did some testing with the dialogue, and a lot of times the 4 options are different paths you can explore conversationally. They aren't going to cause a city to live or die, but it's a kind of thing where you will get different amounts of information and different types of information based on the replies you get. So for a lore nerd like me, I freaking love that because like I can actually get the information I want out of a conversation. Sometimes it is different ways of confirming
that does
something.
exist, yeah.
That happens, absolutely. But there's also a lot of times when you can just completely change the course of the conversation with your options, which has been really fun. And also gotten to some really good lore sometimes. Also, some of the things they say are like actually ridiculous. Some of the things you can say are just like memey and weird. And
So
It's
I'm
fun.
actually. You guys said you were both.
So like
noble-
being in a D&D group then.
Yes, it very much is. Yeah, very much
Yeah.
is. You guys are both nobles, right?
Yes.
So I picked
Yeah.
Court Augur, and the choices that gives me in dialogue are pretty awesome because I can.
Noble is very aloof and very like, I am way better than you. Like
Really?
lots of way better than you options. Yeah. It's some of them really click though. Like if you know a lot about society and a character's ask you about that, you can like give some good insight. But no, very pomp and circumstance responses for Noble.
Yeah.
Very smug.
Okay.
Yeah.
Court Augur is like, I'm gonna read your mind, and I'm just gonna say what I know you're trying to say, or what I
damn it.
like. it
Now I want to go back and change it.
it
It sounds
worked-
kind of awesome.
It works sometimes, but other times people will just be like, fucking stop doing that. Like, why did you do you're not making any goddamn sense, but you're making perfect sense.
I like that.
It's
dude.
really cool.
I didn't realize that was an option.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how they I'm curious about the other ones because there's nobleman, court augur, there's like war
Scout?
leader,
War hero.
war hero, that's what it is.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't remember what the last one is. I think there's 5 total. I
Oh
will
my
say,
God.
like, I was really very pleasantly
Arcane.
surprised how many
Color.
options you have. Like, I see Noble in 1 out of 5 conversations, if not less than that. Like, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
So I can say that, especially considering how many times I take the Noble option, it seems to make a pretty big, like, that's a pretty big RP decision. Like, what kind of person you want to be? Because we're going to give you literally hundreds of options to be that person if you want to. And it's all going to have reactive dialogue and stuff. It's not like you're just going to get the same dialogue with the same. Some of the stuff my Noble says is really asinine. Like, he's really a dick. Like, it's wild. Sometimes, of course, if you're talking to a dick, you got to be a dick. So, you know, it's like, that's just how it works. It's how the world ends. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
It is fun indeed. I'm enjoying it. I'm only 75%, I guess, is what I would put myself at through the game, and I think I'm at 50 hours.
You're the third map?
So you can't
I'm
you
45
can't
hours
change your
in.
background once you start, right? Like the
Correct.
noble, the augurs, stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like I might just start over since I'm only like a couple hours in, just to give you like to report back with like what, because we got augur and a noble.
Yeah.
I might go back and try the scholar.
There's an arcane scholar. Yeah, it might be cool. You might be like a
and
know
see what their dialogue choices are.
Yeah, you might just know.
People are saying they're
everything.
very nerdy, which I'm cool with.
It would fit the archetype you're trying to play with, like a mage. Yeah,
Yeah.
might work. Yeah, cool. That's Avowed. I will probably finish it up.
I'm playing more tonight. I'm loving it.
Chat was wanting to see this, so this is the non-spoilery version. Hold on. Of course. Oh, thanks, Twitch. You just didn't do what you said you were going to do. When
Scholar
I copied
is
this thing.
super lore intensive.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what I'm doing now is I'm doing. Oh, and by the way, somebody earlier in chat saw this. Just want to point out, yes, there are absolutely major decisions in this game. In fact,
Oh,
just
yeah.
slight spoiler, and I'm certainly not going to say any more than this. You can lose entire towns. You can lose, like, if you don't do the right things, go to the right places, do that kind of stuff. Like, you can lose entire cities. So yes, there are absolutely things have ramifications depending on what you do.
And when everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I rushed like main story," with how much side quest actually?
Didn't you say you're on the 3rd map with like 50 hours?
Yeah. Well, I didn't rush it. I'm saying they rushed it.
Oh,
they rushed main
okay.
story.
Yeah. I was gonna say
With how much they've said that, and then how much side quest actually impact everything else from a story perspective. That seems like it's terrible. Like it's just you're missing.
What's even crazier,
so
dude?
much.
that thing that we did is not even a quest.
Yeah. You can just, yeah.
So it's like, which is interesting. I mean, like that's kind of wild. Yeah, like if you rush the main story and don't do any side exploration or questing, like your game's gonna be affected.
Yeah. Anyways, this is my level 19 character, you can see how much different it is from Cohh's gameplay.
Oh, my current character is a dual wielding cyclone. Like I went,
okay.
yeah, my current character, I've switched to dual wielding. It is the highest damage melee, and I have a charge, a taunt that gives me temporary hit points, and then I can pull people to me too. So I'm basically just like charging around and yanking people and doing all sorts of stuff. So it's actually really, really fun. I'm still kind of finding my weapons and everything that I want to use, but dual wielding is very cool. Big timing component to it too, which makes combat a lot more interesting because you have to perfectly time your combos or they will stop. Your dual wielding will stop, and then you don't get full combo bonuses and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, this is I'm playing Call of Avowed basically.
I'm just out here yanking everyone's pizzle. That's right.
Yeah,
it's really absurd.
No, I see the reload speed. It's insane.
Yeah,
and the one. I was going to
I
mention
brought
the one
America
thing that
to Eora, Zeke. All right, I was just bringing a little piece of.
Someone needs to take that clip
There you
and
go.
show it to Henry and be like, "You can do 20 times better, dude. Like, look at this man. Look how this man loads an arquebus. You can load a crossbow at least half as fast."
Oh God.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
One thing I had kind of a problem with when I first got some spells and stuff was like some of the spells like take up a bunch of the screen, like especially like the first flame spell you get.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, flame spell. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't see shit. What the fuck? And I have to keep aiming at the guy, but there's another guy coming in and I got to keep blowing fire. Jesus Christ, I can't see shit.
You might have you tried third person at all? Because it would fix that issue.
I haven't yet.
I gotta
I've heard
say,
it.
I
see that you do a lot of third person.
I feel like third person's tacked on, dude. I can't use it.
Yeah.
Like the floatiness.
It's pretty
and,
floaty.
It's got some bugs with melee. Like I hate third person in this game.
Yeah.
I wish I felt differently, but I feel like third person was added late and they didn't fine tune it. So,
Yeah.
I know some people dig it. Some people, in fact, in my chat have said they only pay in third person, and first person they can't because the game moves too fast. Especially with exploration stuff when you're pulling up on ledges and everything.
Yeah.
First
makes
person for me
sense.
is the way to go.
That makes sense. So cool.
No,
But yeah,
I might try like third person for some combat elements and stuff like that to see. But is it something that you can change on the fly? I haven't looked too deep
Instantly.
Yes, you just
All you
press
have to do is
U.
hit the U key.
or in on the
okay,
right
okay,
stick.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
the best.
cool.
The best part about it is how fast you can jump in and out of it. Like that was
Just
a great
one button,
decision.
yeah.
It's just a quick
Okay.
push.
Yeah.
hmm
So
Swell.
I will say though, it feels like for me, it feels great in first person. It feels cyberpunky. Like I really like that you can tell when you go into environments that they all feel handcrafted with how things are laid out and where things are and stuff like that. So it's a game that caters to first person for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Feels good.
No, it feels first person feels right until like my entire screen is like filled up with a fireball. And then I'm like,
That makes sense.
I hope there's no one charging at me through this fireball. Oh, there is. Oh, I'm dead.
you'll die pretty quick. Yeah.
Before we move on from
You
Obsidian,
do. Holy shit. By the
final-
way, are you guys all playing on the hardest difficulty or no?
Yes.
quick note on that. Hardest difficulty is super hard if you don't keep your gear updated, but it becomes far more manageable when you start updating your gear. Also, whenever you get to a new map or area, the first thing you want to do is try to tier your gear up.
Yep.
Because tiering your gear actually changes the loot table of the world. So whenever you upgrade from like gray to blue to purple and stuff like that, if you have a weapon of that quality in your inventory, everything starts dropping higher. And also when you start finding uniques, they start dropping of that tier, which is really useful too. So definitely do that. Last thing we'll throw out here, by the way, this game is on Game Pass. So if you do want to try it, keep in mind it's a Game Pass game. And second of all, how did you guys feel about the $70 price tag?
Yeah, that's one of those things. I caught myself yesterday saying like, man, every time someone's like, hey, would you play this? I'm like, this game's a great Game Pass game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's my answer. Like,
For me, the thing that I'm wrestling with, and I wasn't asking this because I had some gotcha answer. I was genuinely wondering what you guys are thinking. Obsidian has always been a AA at best company. They've never been a company that's been super bankrolled. They've always delivered like, bangers with issues kind of things, but they've always been kind of AA at best. Microsoft buys them we know that Microsoft is giving them funds, but we also know that their team didn't explode in size. We know that they didn't get millions and millions more. They got probably what they needed. But I mean, still Avowed released, and even the people working on it are like, we wish we could have done more. We didn't have enough time. So the thing that's confusing me the most about this is I feel like this game would have been so much better received at like a $40 to $50 price point. At what point do we start saying that like a $70 price tag is okay? Because yes, Microsoft is a AAA company, and that part makes sense. But I don't feel like this has the resources and development of a AAA project. So like for me, I'm having problems justifying that $70 price tag when we know it's not a $70. We know that $70 worth of resources did not go into this game.
Right.
So it's kind of like I'm having a dichotomy there.
Part
like
of me feels like if I put on my tinfoil hat, part of me thinks the reason they did $70 is so that you subscribe to Game Pass.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
why.
So
like,
the TLDR is just Microsoft marketing is why it's that expensive.
yeah, I fully think that it's just to drive Game Pass. I mean, with everything they have lined up with this, South of Midnight, Claire, what is it? Claire Obscure, whatever, Expedition 33 or whatever.
Expedition 33.
Yeah, and then Doom. Like, I think all of that, all those games, I don't know if they're all $70. I could see Doom being $70 just right off the rip, but I don't know about the other two. I think those are just to drive Game Pass.
Yep.
And the way that they've,
I mean, they're driving everyone away from the console, so maybe that's their ace in the hole kind of thing. Just get everyone on Game Pass, and then they don't have to worry about the console anymore.
Yeah. Because the other thing was, you had 5 days early access, and that was $22 to buy into if you had Game Pass. So they'll make their money there.
Like to say that's free money is an understatement. Like to think about, like they're charging $20. Think about how many things in your life are valued at $20. $20 to play a game 5 days early, and the amount of people that actually spent that $20.
Right.
It's just free money. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah. I think that's all just.
That's almost a lunch at McDonald's. That's right, Jamie.
You could maybe buy 3 eggs.
Maybe if you're lucky, if you found them on sale, that'd be great.
You found them on sale and without the flu. God. Let's not get into that.
That's almost a DoorDash delivery fee, not the food, of course, but the paying to get it to you.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's all just Game Pass. I think that's just.
I think that's right.
Their shift.
I still think the game would have been so much better at like a 40 to 50 price point. I think that. I think that's a big point of contention, and it's making those videos like the Oblivion and Skyrim versus Avowed like so much.
It's just ammunition.
It's a lot
for those
easier
people.
for those videos to exist.
Yeah.
When the price tag is set at a level that you would expect to get max quality from, like, yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. If you're a gamer that plays like three to 5 games a month, like I don't know if that's average, but
I would say that's
your gamer that
high,
plays 3 to 5 games a month. Is there a reason? Like I'm totally honest here. Is there a reason not to have Game Pass?
If you want to, well, I was about to say if you want to own the game, but funny enough, if you're buying that, you're probably buying it from Steam and you don't own that game. So, like, I guess it depends.
Hold up. If you have Game Pass and you spent the $20 to play Avowed early, don't games get cycled out of Game Pass eventually?
But not first party. First party are always Game Pass.
So as long as your Game Pass subscription is up, Avowed will always be on it.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain that's true.
Okay.
Chat, I'm sure will correct me or not correct me here.
I was gonna say, because that'd be kind of messed up if that was not the case. If you could pay $20 to play a game early that in 2 years gets cycled out of your library, that would be a little much.
Be fucked. But
And when I say 3 to 5 games a month, I'm not saying like necessarily finishing 3 to 5 games a month. I'm saying like, is it weird that before I was a streamer that I would play 3 to 5 games a month and not like I would jump from like, okay, I'll come back to that later and then play a different game. Like,
I think that's
35 games a month seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Like not finishing them, but like, okay, I played enough Skyrim for today. Next game I'm gonna play for a little bit is GTA or whatever, and then you come back to Skyrim. Like that's what I'm saying.
I think that's how most people, most not like just people that play video games. I think that's how most people approach
Yeah.
games.
No, when I said 3 to 5 games a month, I saw a bunch of people in chat going like, "What the fuck? Like that's ridiculous."
Well,
I'm like, "Is it?"
I think that's high.
I mean, especially a lot of
It was.
people also have like gaming buddy groups they're parts of, and they'll just pick games to play and jump between that kind of stuff, and so,
yeah, I think that's pretty high.
a lot per month. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's this month is specifically there's so many like crazy long games that are also good that I would really will never hear the answer for this, but I would love to know if Microsoft would have preferred to flip South of Midnight and Avowed with their launches, because South of Midnight is coming out around. Is that the same day as Assassin's Creed, maybe? Whereas like Avowed was immediately compared with Kingdom Come. And Kingdom Come sales-wise probably ate its lunch. So
Of all the games that Avowed could have come out next to, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is arguably the absolute worst one they could have released next to.
I agree.
And that's because what everyone wanted to see from those like Oblivion and Skyrim versus Avowed videos, you can basically do in Kingdom Come Deliverance. So it's like literally like one of the best immersive sandboxes we've got released next to a game that kind of looked like it. So immediately set expectations, but wasn't an immersive sandbox. So it's like everyone's expectations just boom, 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 right next to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
And I'm totally in the camp that like those games shouldn't be compared, but there's also the reality that they're totally going to. Like there's just no reason not
man.
to.
Yeah, and it gets even more tough when it's like, although Avowed isn't an immersive sandbox, you still want the experience to be as immersive as possible. So it's like it walks this line where it's like, no, it's a narrative ARPG. It's not a Skyrim. It's not an Oblivion. It's a narrative ARPG. That the point of it is that. But it still could do all this other stuff. Like it could. To be expected of it, no, but it could, and it would be better if it did for a lot of people. So that leads to like that weird, expectations versus reality versus resources.
Yeah.
Or scope. I think scope is also a really big thing. Yeah. So a lot of people didn't really talk about the fact that like Oblivion and Skyrim have all those features because they're baked into the engine. The engine is literally designed for that stuff. Like you don't make NPCs in that engine without giving them a full itinerary. You don't put an object in that world without it being a fully usable object.
Right.
So it's like they would have had to make all that for Avowed. They would have had to design all of that from the ground up, like the entire systems, all of them. And they already didn't get some basic stuff in scope. So I can only imagine we would have been waiting until 2029 for Avowed if that were the case.
Yeah.
I'm sure Microsoft would have loved that.
Yeah. Might have been rebooted a third time. Jeez. Could you imagine? After
That's what I said earlier. Like, it's a good thing that game didn't come out even saying anything with the word Skyrim, because if they had tried to be a multiplayer Skyrim with the level of immersion they have, I would have been complaining about that too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For me, I have both games. I have KCD2 and Avowed, and I was like, man, which one? And then I said one word to myself. I was like, magic.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's a lot of reasons that
was an
people
easy
just
choice
don't
for
play
me.
KCD2.
That's
Absolutely.
me. That's 100% me. Like I have not touched KCD2 because the lack of magic. But everyone keeps telling me like you really need to play this game, so I might check it out eventually because
The thing that I can say,
everyone has said to play it.
I am not a person that generally likes historical games. In fact, I didn't really like Red Dead Redemption 2 because it was a Western. Like,
I
I'm
saw
normally
your
not
clip about
normally not
that.
into that. But the thing about KCD2 is that it's such an extended level of gamification in an immersive standpoint that it transcends the realistic barrier that I normally set for myself. Like it gamifies reality so well that it also almost unimmerses you from the historical context and immerses you in this game world it's created. it still feels very much like a video game, even though it still feels incredibly realistic because of how much awesome stuff and care they've put into making it an immersive sandbox.
Got
It's
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of hard to enunciate,
It-
but it's so well done. It's
For me,
crazy. It's crazy.
the biggest like selling point, or not selling point, the thing that's got me the most interested in Kingdom Come is that Gassy Mexican, my neighbor, is still streaming that game as of last night and constantly talking about how good it is. And like he moves from game to game pretty quick just because that's how he handles his stream. It's been like 2 weeks and he's just he's like, this game's so good. I can't stop playing it. To me, that is like shit. It's probably good. Like, that's a big
Dude, it's
canary in
great.
a coal
You should
mine
give it a
for
try,
me.
man.
Yeah.
You should give it a try.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth a try if nothing else,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I will tell you this right now. There's not a thing. There is not a few things. There is a laundry list of things that KCD2 does better than any other game on the market. Like a laundry list.
Yeah.
And for that alone, it's worth, just as a gamer, just checking it out and seeing how those systems work and everything.
Sounds like it'll be on the radar for the rest of the year.
Oh, you do need about 200 hours, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I have to like block out a Persona style amount of time. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Hey, this coming week, by the way, if you're not trying to finish up Avowed or Kingdom Come or anything before Wilds, it's Steam Next Fest. There's a shit ton of demos hitting tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I'm doing a
Yeah.
whole demo day. I don't have time for it.
Yeah, there is. I will probably not be doing a demo day either. But
I will. I'll
Okay.
be doing a whole week.
check out Zeke stream for all that.
I'm doing one day.
You're
I'm doing
doing
all
a
day
day?
tomorrow is demo
Okay.
days. All day. I've got like 5 demos lined up and I'll probably get a bunch more. But yeah,
Zeke,
I've got-
I have a
wait list.
proposition.
I'm intrigued.
I don't think you're going to be as soon as I change screens.
Someone already brought this up to me.
Man.
And I said, the only way that I will play this game is if I am forced by some agreement that I've made with my chat. Because it's like, hey, do you want SnowRunner, but also road building? Well, have I got a game for you?
Man.
And I said, no. I said, I would rather, you know what? You just fill in the blank. I'd rather do literally anything.
It's not as difficult
It's fucking-
or annoying as SnowRunner. This is Roadcraft. The demo hits everywhere tomorrow. We got. It's kind of cool. Developers, both sponsored and unsponsored, access to these demos early to help promote, so you get the full week of access. And they gave us access to Roadcraft, which is from the SnowRunner folk. And so we played 4-player Roadcraft, which, as you're about to see here, you make roads, and it's you're putting sand down, and then you're having the wheelbarrow flatten the sand, and then you're having the steamroller go across the sand so the plane is level, and then you're putting the asphalt on that, and then you're having the steamroller go across it so that it's flat, and it's fucking sick. Like, it was a lot of fun just doing that with 3 other friends because of the absurdity of like things that occurred. And it sounds like it's the worst game ever from people hear that and they're just like, why the fuck would I want to play that? And then like 3 hours pass and you've built an entire road and you feel pretty proud about that. That was our experience. The demo took like 3 hours to get through. There's 3 different maps. There's one where you have to lay cable and hook up electricity from like a factory to another factory or type deal. But yeah, it's great. You should definitely check it out, Zeke. This is my preferred demo going into Steam Next Fest. You should check it out.
This is honestly, it's one of those games that like SnowRunner, I had a grudge with because that's like, I've been through SnowRunner. I lived in Montana. SnowRunner, like the snow sucks and it's treacherous and it's terrible and it's a fucking pain in the ass to deal with and to drive through and all that kind of shit. So it just brought up all kinds of shit. Same here. My dad owned his own construction company.
Yeah.
So I've done construction work and it fucking sucks.
Dude, the
And
VOD.
it's one of like, I have never owned a trading card shop. So that was not like work to me. I was like, oh my God, this is an adventure. I've never done, like, I've always wanted to know what it's like to run a trading card shop and sell games or sell cards and like, you know,
I get it.
build it out and stuff like that. But like this, I have done this manual labor shit and this is like so far away from fun for me. And that's probably one of the big reasons is because I've been out in the hot sun sweating under like I haven't done this particular shit. Like I've never like done this, but I've done like
Yeah.
sweaty, just manual labor, picking up dirt, shoveling, you know, carrying mortar, like bricks, all this kind of shit. Like I've done that. And that's like, you want a game where you do that?
Now that I get.
Good.
Yeah, that I understand. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, it was great. I had a lot of fun with that. I think Solasta 2 also has a demo for any 5e fans out
I'm
there.
gonna play the demo.
You're not?
Oh man, I love Solasta. No,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play the demo. No.
Okay.
I'll be playing it when it comes out. I'm like, I reserve demos for games I've never heard of or I'm kind of questioning. Like demos of games that I know I'm going to play anyways. Like I just avoid. I'm like, I'm good. I know it's gonna be great. It's Solasta. I love Solasta 1, so this one's gonna be good.
I've heard really good things from people that have played it, from people that regularly play 5th edition D&D. So Solasta 2's got a demo. Monaco 2, which is an old game that came out with a sequel finally. I did a sponsored stream for that with Gassy and Bruce. That was fun. Breath Edge 2 has a demo. I know you guys both like that.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, that's out. I've heard pretty good stuff with that.
I hope the indestructible chicken is back.
Two of the games I'm working on have demos.
Oh, nice. Are those both launched tomorrow?
Yeah. So I'm advising on a game called War Torn,
Right.
which
Okay.
is being made by a Paul Helquist and a lot of other people that were kind of part of the AAA exodus. They made a new company called Stray Kite, and if you've heard of the old game called Myth: The Fallen Lords, this is a modern day take on a version of that, which is very interesting and very cool. And I'm helping them with that project, and that's called War Torn. And then a game that I'm actually publishing with Mad Mushroom called Conquest Dark is releasing an updated demo as well. So
Nice.
those are both very, very cool games.
Cool.
Yep. A lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not
Then
sure.
Chernobylite 2.
What was that?
Chernobylite 2 is going to have a demo too, which was the kind of
I
indie
remember you
stalker
played
game.
that. Yeah.
Very
I'm
exciting.
sure there's going to be. The thing is there's no way to actually cover all of the demos that come out. Like, it's tough. There's so many.
No, dude, even doing an entire week of it barely scratches the surface. Like you get as many in as you can,
Yeah.
and there's still hundreds more, literally hundreds.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Chernobylite demo is 115 gigabytes. What?
Holy, that's a big fucking demo.
Yeah, there's a few
Oh, yeah.
demos out there that are like huge.
Dude, I got to
Damn.
play for the first time on stream the Gothic remake, like a show demo that they were taking to cons and stuff.
Yeah.
That they're making available for demo days. So
Oh,
if you want
nice.
to check out like the Gothic remake, which is coming along super well.
That's great.
Yeah. So Gothic fans, check that out for sure.
Yep.
And I tried Gothic. Did you know that, Cohh? Like I tried the old Gothic
Oh God,
because I'd heard so much about it.
Yeah.
do you have
Yeah.
a-
Was it a nightmare?
Tried on CD. I think I tried on CD-ROM. maybe I tried it on Steam. Either way, I tried it. I'm like, okay, you know me. I have a big, big forgiveness for like old or indie or shit like that. Man, I just did not like it at all. I don't know why, because it's like everything about it I should like, and I just did not. So I'm wondering if the remake is like going to improve it enough that I will
Oh,
jump in and enjoy it.
definitely add the remake demo to your docket. I would love to get your opinions
Okay.
on it. It feels completely different than the old
Okay.
games. Yeah.
Okay.
Big time.
Well, cool.
No, people are saying it's Eurojank. That's absolutely correct. It is definitely Eurojank.
It's like some of the original Eurojank.
I would say it's some of the
actually,
original, exactly.
Yeah, it's the foundational Eurojank.
the foundation.
I played some. Like I've got a box full of shit I played on CD-ROM-a-thon that was definitely like Dracula 2. Anyone?
Well, cool. I think we might call the show a little early. Coh's got some stuff that he's got to get to. And I don't know if you want to just hear me and Zeke talk for 34 minutes.
No one wants that.
No one wants that. Yeah.
And I've got Avowed to get to. I'm gonna start a new character. Whee!
There you go, dude.
Nice,
That's always the
nice.
best feeling. Next week, what do y'all want to do? We could do a show.
Did you see what my suggestion?
I'm
in Discord?
totally gonna be addicted to Wilds. Zeke, are you
Zeke.
gonna play Wilds?
Are
Do
you
have
going to play
any
Monster
interest?
Hunter Wilds? Or here, follow-up question: would you be willing to play it for 3 hours?
No, with you guys, yes, of course.
So I'm thinking. My suggestion to JP was like, let's even get Strippin or Gathalion or one of like the big Monster Hunter guys, and next week let's just do 3 hours of Monster hunts, and like we can talk about games and just hang out and kill monsters.
Yeah, I think we should be able to do that. Yeah, I'll check in middle of the week. I don't know if I'll be able to tear Strippin away.
Well, you technically wouldn't have to. just be like, we just need you for grouping for these 3 hours. You can keep playing. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone brought up a concern in my chat, and I'm going to bring it up to you guys. I don't have a tippy top of the line machine. Is that going to be a problem for Monster Hunter?
No.
Well, we hope not. the optimization on the benchmark looks okay from what I understand, but there were some issues with the demo. So we think it should be okay.
Yeah,
it
you can run a
seems to
benchmark,
be that
Zeke.
it will be okay. Yeah.
You can run a benchmark, Zeke, and also if you run that benchmark, look up how to enable DLSS 4. Because that'll give you a bunch of extra frames in it and help the performance on it. So
Yeah, I'm still in 3080 world. So
it's still you can still do.
And it's not like with the games I play at 3080 is plenty usually.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain
with
you
the
can
indie shit that
DLSS 4.
I get into, like it's fine. But like if getting into the new stuff, it's like especially something that as big as Monster Hunter and as intense as it is, like my graphic card, like 3080, I hope can handle it.
Yeah, I think
Wait,
you'll be
is
fine.
this real? Groovy goes to my chat, says people took the files from the benchmark and put them into the demo and it ran fine.
Yeah, it's just a DLL
Really?
file. It's just a DLL file. Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just put that in the demo?
I don't know, certs. They would have to run through another certification for PlayStation and Microsoft.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wild.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, just run the benchmark for sure. So, reviews drop for that
Same guy says
tomorrow.
it because it was an old build. Oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll be more than just that.
Yep. Let's do some shout outs and get out of here. Zeke, start us off. What do you got going on? Where can people check you out?
Yo, everybody, thank you for joining me. My name is Ezekiel the Third. Oh, well, first of all, thank you, Cohh and JP, for, doing drop frames every week. 420. Nice. Anyways, my name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. And Ezekiel the Third, all spelled out on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. If you want to check me out, I broadcast at 1 p.m. Eastern every day, just like the drop frame starts, same time. I take Mondays off, so I won't be streaming tomorrow, but I will be streaming on Tuesday, and this entire week is Steam Next Fest demo days all week long. We're going to be playing as many demos as we can cram into the week, and it's going to be, I'm just going to get a huge download of all the ones I can think of, and if you want to suggest it in my Discord. There's a demo suggestions tab there, and it'll be my pick, your pick, my pick, your pick, or your pick, roll, whatever. It's going to be just crazy fun. So come on out. That's all I got. Thank you for joining or watching.
Oh, thank you, Zeke. Got a little review leaked for Monster Hunter Wilds. Someone posted it early and gave it a 5.0 out of 5. So cons.
Blaze it.
Bot review. Paid for.
Cons on this review, they literally put can't think of any. So I guess it's a good game.
Is it a reputable source?
Yeah, it's from PCMag.com. Yeah, they're pretty reputable. So That's pretty wild. Cohh, do some shout outs.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're not green screen.
Oh,
I don't know why. I'll fix it. Keep talking.
hi,
Act like
everybody.
there's no problem.
There's no problem. Look, see? Boom. Look at that. Anyway, thank you so much to Zeke and JP. It was a lot of fun, as always, on the show. My name is Cohh. Hi. We're going to be doing a full demo day tomorrow, but we are going to be playing some Avowed this evening on my channel, twitch.tv/Cohh, if you want to head over there. And this week, we're going to be playing probably a little bit of KC2 in the mornings and then a whole lot of Avowed as we see if we can somehow get that finished at a relatively decent clip before Monster Hunter Wilds. But it is looking like we're going to be having Monster Hunter Wilds, KCD2, and Avowed going for at least a few days, if not longer, because we are definitely playing that game as soon as we can. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. It's going to be a fun week. Tomorrow is going to be demo days. Those 5 games I mentioned earlier, War Torn, Conquest Dark, Chernobylite 2, Solasta 2, and Breath Edge 2 we're going to be doing tomorrow, and then I'm going to be getting more viewer-suggested demos from you to play, and then it is back to KCD2 and Avowed until Monster Hunter Wilds. And then after all that, Yakuza, which should be fun, which we didn't even get to talk about today.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Next time. Anyway, thank you for being here, and appreciate your time. See you all next week for some monster hunting, potentially.
Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Like after demo week, I will be doing Pirate Yakuza.
Oh, nice. You're gonna check it out. Fantastic.
Oh, somebody asked about Mecha Break. I'm doing Mecha Break, I think, next week at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are due. We're doing a big thing. But
I don't
probably hear about that soon if you
Yeah,
haven't.
there's an open beta today. I was actually wanting to check it out, so it looks
I played it before. It's exactly what it looks like. It's actually pretty fun.
cool.
Why I'm doing stuff with them again.
There you go. Fantastic. All right, that's it. Thanks everyone so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Whether it'll be in Wilds or whether it'll be a normal show, we'll let you guys know via Twitter and now Blue Sky as well. If you're on there, you can follow the Drop Frames account. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you both for joining us. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.